We are live. We are recording.
No.
What? We're not allowed to be recording? Well, tough, because I'm recording.
I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button. I hit the streaming button, and that almost went on Twitch. Okay, now we're recording.
Okay. Well, fun.
Sorry.
If we end up using my take, we're gonna have all that. So that's real smooth sailing. Hi everybody, we're professionals. Actually, reminder, we're not professionals. We don't get paid to do this. We're just pissing around, and it's fun because it's Toonkind DnD. And you may have guessed at least one of the guests here already, but do y'all want to introduce yourself? And well, we'll get to your characters in a moment. Let's have the players first.
Hello, my name is Fable, and I've started off great but pressing wrong buttons, but I'm also excited for today. We've been talking about this for a while, and I'm excited. Hee-hoo.
Hee-hoo. Hello, I'm Yuni. I'm also excited because two people whom I love very much are playing with me, and that's always nice.
It is actually really nice to play a game with both of you in it. I think this is the second time it's happened, but it's just like, yeah, I love these people.
It's good.
Okay, so some of you will know, who are listening, that is, not you two. You two definitely know who Antler is and who Zan is, or are. I don't know how grammar works, but some of you may not. You may not have listened to the games that they're in, even though they are much beloved on the Toonkind Discord, and quite a lot of people ship them. But yeah, so I would like you, one at a time, to introduce your character, and yeah, give us a summary of who they are, and not like that the whole backstory, but like just a bit of meat on that bone, if we don't have one to start with. So Fable, do you want to start?
Oh boy, yeah. So I play Antler, formerly known as the Antlered King, who started out as basically a bootleg of the Horn King from the Black Cauldron, but has very much grown into his own, and is going through a bit of a redemption arc at the moment. Bit of character change. It's fun for him. He's having a weird time.
I mean, that's a really decent summary. And then we have, sorry for talking over you.
Yeah. At first, I want to say, quite a lot of people ship them. We ship them. It is us. We're the ones who ship them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And consequently, everybody else.
Indeed. And Zan, he is a sweet older real kind man. Who is in his mid-60s, has been through some traumatic toon body horror experiences, but you know what? He's doing his best. He's tried it. He also has brain parasite best friend. That's mean. She's not a parasite. It's symbiotic.
That's a fascinating way of describing that situation.
Parasite is an affectionate term.
Yeah, parasite brackets affectionate.
Yeah. He just calls her that when she annoys him, which is all the time.
All the time. So Navi isn't a sort of,
in a way.
And just so we have an age frame, because this game had this as a joke title, and then it just kind of stuck. How old are Antler and Zan respectively? Because I'm actually not too sure.
Oh boy, you want to know his exact
Well, not
age?
exact.
Oh,
you can just say he's old.
I do have it.
TM.
I do. He is 358.
Oh.
He's old.
Wow.
Can I mention he's old?
Okay.
Is that counting the years he wasn't around anymore?
Yeah, that it counts. Well, because he was aware during that. He was aware during that time. He was trapped in a cauldron for 200 years, but he was aware. So
Fun.
like, he was like 150 when he first died, and then 200 years later came back. So 358 or something. Yeah.
And Zan is he's like early 60s, I think. So Antler's a real cradle robber here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a toy boy. Like, extreme.
Oh, I'm sorry. A what?
Cauldron snatcher. Let's move on. Let's not get too worried about the details. Whoops! Opened a can of worms there. And that's an item you can buy in Glorp's Emporium. But anyway, okay, so today's adventure is going to start when you two decide to go somewhere via teleportation. And was it the Antlered King who had access to a teleportation circle?
Yeah, because he is currently the mayor of a town called Little Quarter, just up north of Giznep. And they just recently got a teleportation circle built in.
Nice, cushy. Okay, so how about you two start the ball rolling, and like, why is Zan there? Where are you going? Just play it out with the role playing and the cute.
Well, I imagine. Yuni, I always imagine it's because Zan, now that the teleportation circle is like set up, it's now easier for Zan to go back and forth.
Yeah, it's having that in town makes it so it's like, oh yeah, Zan could just pop into town if he ever needs to, which is a bizarre concept for him to wrap his brain around, because a few weeks ago it was just like, of course, like he's only visiting under extreme horrible circumstances, emergency, and now it's just like, oh yeah, now we have a way for me to pop in anytime.
Yeah, which isn't too bad. And I imagine Antler is walking him down because that's the polite thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's adorable.
And they've recently established themselves as friends, which is weird for Antler, and he's still getting used to the concept.
Bless.
Mm-hmm.
Friends with a question mark.
Friends with a question mark, yeah. I imagine they're walking down. They enter the. I like to imagine they're called circle stations.
Mm-hmm. I like that. You could have a symbol like the London Underground if you did that.
Yeah. It's probably a decent line, but since Antler's the mayor, he's able to get Zan like to the front of it pretty quickly.
Yeah. I like that. Just push your way through. You do have some authority.
Way to abuse your political power.
Yeah.
I don't think Antler even tries to. He just he just walks towards the building, and one of the people who works there is just like, oh, Antler, hey, are you using the circle today? Oh, not. Yes, I'm just taking my friend here back home. Oh yeah, no problem. Hey, we can get you to the front if you like. Oh, right. And yeah, they people do nice things for him now. He's still not used to that either. And Zan, you look at him, it shows. He's not used to people doing nice things for him.
Great. Okay, well, you swiftly make your way to the front of the queue, and you step onto the teleportation circle, to go to wherever it is you're going. I would like you both to make a constitution save.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we all love those.
Con save. Oh, the one save that Antler's actually not tearing. I'm so glad Antler's alive now. 19.
Wonderful. Okay, I admit I wasn't expecting it, but I'm delighted nonetheless. With a 21 and a 19, you step into the portal and it works. You feel the tingly whooshy magic. There's the sort of Giznep-esque pixie dust animation, and you are Star Trek'd. Whoop! And then you feel like you kind of got turned sideways. Like, normally you kind of just feel this sort of vertical stretch, and then you come back down. It's kind of like a sort of... It feels like the Mega Man animation. You know the one? That one. So... that is not what happened. You, instead of going vertical, you went to the lateral, and after a bit of stuttering, almost like a television with static, you find yourself popping back into existence, and if you had done less well, you would have felt very nauseous, so the fact that you are resilient enough is very impressive. But you come back to in a very boring place. It's a very boring room. It's like the most generic office building you have ever seen, and that is often the way with Toonkind environments. They are the exaggerated version of themselves. Tell me, have either of you ever been to the DMV before?
Zan has, at some point, yeah.
Okay.
Antler has not.
Cool.
And he looks around and just goes, "Now, I've not seen the Circle Station in cinema, but I don't imagine it looks like this."
No. I think you'll need to do some checking over things when we get back. I think.
You're in a
And
situation.
he just takes a sigh and is just like, this suddenly become a very long day.
Yeah. So, for those of you who haven't been to the DMV before in our listening channel, it is the Demi-Materialization Verificators, which is where you get sent if something goes wrong during teleportation, like if you were going to end up getting stuck inside a wall or something. And at the moment you're in this sort of antechamber that leads into the main office, but you can see it through the fog glass. And Zan, you know that if you go through those doors, there will be 3 different lines, and you have to choose the one that, suits your line of magic, let's say. So there's a warlock's line and a sorcery line and a wizard's line. Are you going to go in?
Yep.
Antler's taking
Zen-
a moment to look, because he's not been here before.
Yeah,
He doesn't
I mean,
really
Zan
know
could
where he
explain, or you could just, go through.
Yeah, Zan will take a moment and be like, it seems there was an error. I don't know on which end it was, but this is where they shoot people who don't quite teleport right. And
I see. It is a safety net of sorts for the system.
yes, it is.
We
Fortunately,
had one of these in my time. It did not look like this.
well, it's good to know they changed at some point, because I think it's been 30 years since I've been back here. Well, we may as well get in line. It seems we'll be here for a while.
Oh joy. Very well
You
then.
haven't even gotten to the paperwork yet.
So it is that kind of.
I'm just
Very
going to
well then.
say, because
Let us get
Zan,
this
I've
over
just
with.
realised that Zan has phenomenal passive perception. 18. Wow. That's just... Anyway, so even before you get to the door, you know that these antechambers are basically soundproof, because people arrive and sometimes they don't feel well. Sometimes things happen. So, you like a bit of privacy. And there are sick bags, like on an aeroplane. Magical sick bags which teleported away. We're not going to compare that to anything else. But as you get to the door, you can hear a bit of noise coming through the door, which is unusual.
Oh, dear. This day may be getting even longer. Oh boy. He sort of tentatively, cautiously pushes the door open.
Wonderful. Antler, you just previously described this rather aptly as a sort of a net. If one can summon the mental image of a fisherman's net at sea with the biggest haul of fish you've ever seen, that is somewhat like what you are seeing here. There are so many people here. The banisters that usually separate them have already been knocked astray. There are people shouting, there are people complaining, there are people wailing, and basically just causing all sorts of mayhem, and all of them looking quite cross. And you can see just right at the back some sort of desk with people behind it, but they're, everyone is different heights here. There's a lot of very tall wizards. It's a trope, what can I say? But before all of that, there seems to be someone else who has arrived as recently as you, and has therefore not become embroiled in this mess. He is short and orange feathered and is leaning against one of these poles and lighting a cigar.
I think Antler's just taking a moment to just look at the crowd. I think his only response to it is just the flick of an ear. Because, yeah, this, tunes, this is not too surprising a scene to see, especially considering the place they're in.
I will say, they're not all tunes. There are a scattering of real kind. Like, I would say maybe 25% of these people are real kind.
No, it does impress him that some of the real kind are making as much of a rabble as the tunes.
Yeah.
That does impress him.
It's infectious, but this is clearly something that isn't just a mayhem tune situation. It's just mayhem.
I think he means Suzanne. Just like, I don't suppose this is normal here.
Not last I checked. Boy. And at that point, he'll catch sight of the little feathery fellow, and will start a moment and go, Mr. And Mr. Engineer? Hello. I don't know if you recall me. I made friends with your child a while back. Good to see you.
The small orange thing doesn't look around immediately, but you know that he heard you because, rather like your tall friend next to you, his ear wiggles slightly, and there's an exhalation of smoke, and he says, "It's not always quite this bad, but I've seen it similar, but this is impressive. Oh, hells, and I don't suppose you're, like, better at calming people down. I tend to have the opposite effect sometimes."
Well, I
have a method if you haven't got something, but
this level, but
Antler
I
just
can
kind
try.
of. Antler just quietly watches. He's gonna watch and see what Zan does first, because.
I think Zan is just going to, like, he's a relatively calming sort of energy. He's pretty I like to think of him as a somewhat soothing individual. This is a lot.
it is.
This is the he's just going to step forward, look a little bit overwhelmed before taking a deep breath, and sort of like he clapped his hand, and with thaumaturgy it just like echoes across the room, and calls out to the room like, "All right, people, this is quite a mess we've got. Let's take it one step at a time and figure out what's happening, shall we?"
Okay, I am going.
I'm going to roll a persuasion check.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. But it's basically against this crowd's perception, which is not good right now. So good luck.
Yeah, he hasn't got the greatest plus to that.
I don't know, it might be good. 16 isn't gonna cut it quite. Like, it almost works, but the thing is, like, everyone is just being so loud that your rumble of thaumaturgy, whilst, like, that kind of almost garners some attention, but your voice just immediately gets lost, and it's such a shame. And yeah, there's always, like, a slight lull, and it just it's a lot. It's a lot.
Hey, Maud, I have a question. Is the crowd kind of just... Is it just random chaos, or are they all like pointed in a direction? Like I assume they're all like trying to get towards the
It sort of
I don't know,
peters out.
reception or
So
desks.
the ones who are closest to the desk are absolutely trying to talk to whoever is on the other side of that desk, which again is very difficult to see right now. The rest are kind of all at each other at this point. Like, get out of my way. I was here first. Shut up. This is as much as my problem as it is yours. And there's one walking along the ceiling just saying things like, Hannah is family! I want to see family! And it's...
So Antler is just... oh man, I don't know what to even roll for this, but...
What do you want to do? And I can tell you.
Remember that scene from Brave where the queen just walks through the crowd and everyone just immediately gets out of her way?
Roll intimidation.
Oh, intimidation. Okay. I do want to... God, I'll roll first, but I do want to describe how Antler does this, because...
It'll be funny.
Oh, please, 22.
Yeah, that'll do.
So all you hear from Antler as he's walking is the sound of his staff hitting the ground.
Mm-hmm.
As he just very calmly with the straightest face and just back straight walks through the crowd with purpose and authority. And authority as he's walking towards the desk. And he makes it he walks in a way that definitely puts himself between people that are like face-to-face arguing, and he just walks between them and gets their attention and just kind of spreads that sort of calming, maybe not calming air, but definitely a stop fighting, you're being ridiculous sort of thing.
Yeah, you exude an order of badassery that is so condensed that it parts the Red Sea. And I will say that it is somewhat helped by your height. You are so tall. And yes, well, there are some real kind, but like, yeah, the height is... I would say the average is way underneath where you are. So even with pointed hats. So you drift your way to the front of the line, and remarkably, a hush follows you. By doing this, I don't think you even notice, but the engineer's ears go up, and he is quite impressed. Because he's never met you before, but interesting.
Yeah, Antler just calmly makes his way to the desk.
As you get there, you hear this voice. You don't know how to describe this voice. It's like, everybody shut up! And this floating cyan blob, this vision of beauty, is behind the desk with someone who looks like they're about to pass out. Next to her, there's a real kind human.
God.
Like, who's a ginger freckled guy, and he's just like, is so pale and tired, and you can tell like this is the worst day of his life. She doesn't seem to mind so much, but like, yeah, she's had enough, and just it's so it coincided with the silence that you commanded, and this scream comes out, and then she's face to face with you, and she says, "What do you want?"
Good morning. I imagine you've had wanting to know what the holdup seems to be about.
My glove. Another person with issues. Gary, you sorted out! And she puts a hand to her forehead and takes a seat on the desk, which, you wouldn't have thought she'd need with no feet. But that's what she's doing right now, and as this conversation starts, you can see her starting to repaint her nails, which is completely unnecessary. And Gary manages to summon some energy. He's like, oh, hi, I'm sorry. So, like, I just work here, man. And I don't know what's going on. And nothing's working. And I think you need to do something to calm this kid down, to, like, get some reasoning out of him, because he's at the breakdown point.
Antler just raises a hand in a calming gesture, like, There, I am hardly upset over this. I simply wish to know what is happening.
That's adorable. But please roll persuasion.
Alright. That's my persuasion.
23. He's kind of in awe of you, but also, like, this is the first time someone's been nice to him all day. Gary is having a miserable time, my dude.
Nice is a stretch. Antler's just being patient.
Yeah. Also, like, you can tell, like, this guy is an intern. He hasn't even been, like, working here for, like, a week, and this has happened. So, he sort of takes a few steady breaths, and, like, the crowd feels a bit abashed, because they hadn't realised, like, how upset this kid was. And Gary eventually manages to say, okay, so the portal thing is like bringing people in, but it's not sending them out, and we don't know why. And at this bumpy matter, Princess, for it is she, says, well, my aunt usually runs the place, but we were like, oh, it's okay, we can look after it for a morning, and then, wouldn't you know, everything breaks. So, like, we think it's something to do with the runes, but we haven't had adequate training, so, and she just gestures like, y'all are just gonna have to sit here forever. And then there are sort of murmurs from the crowd of rebellious thoughts.
Do you not have someone to come in and fix these ruins?
Yeah, I called them. They'll be in, like, what did they say, Gary? Next week. And then there's more murmurings of riotous sounds, and just before it actually kicks off again, you all hear a colossally loud, in this unpadded space, you know, it's just flat walls, a gunshot. And the engineer says, alright, so where are the runes? They're like downstairs in the basement. Okay, so how about we have a... Who's good at runes? Who's good at that? And he's like looking around in the room for someone who is good at this sort of magic.
I have some experience.
As do I.
And there are a few other hands that actually get raised. Sheepishly Gary puts a hand up and then puts it down, but then puts it back up again. It's like he's studied it, but he doesn't know if that counts. And he's also like, And eventually you manage to make a team of about 8 people who basically say that they have some experience in this field. And we have, in fact, Gary, the generic teenager. That is what I have him written down as.
My god.
Oh boy.
We have Zan, we have Antler, we have the engineer because this sounds like it might be, like, a mechanical problem, but also he just wants to make sure this gets done. Like, he doesn't know shit about magic, but he knows how to get people to do stuff. So that's why he's going down. There's a red dragonborn. Doesn't say much, very tall and, you know, a heraldic-looking beast, if that makes sense. Very interestingly rendered creature. And there's this, the creature that was on the ceiling, who proclaims himself to be Itch, who was just really trying to get home to see family, and I don't know if Itch is actually good at runes, but he will not be stopped, and so he's coming with you. And then there's this little guy who's a gnome who just keeps saying Schmeculok? Something like that?
Oh my god.
Schmeculok is just like, he's just fucking there, and you're like, you know what, whatever. Okay, sure, maybe you're good at runes, and you can fit in vents or whatever, so let's go. And BMP is like, okay, is everybody ready for the tour? You're allowed to say
Antler
something.
just kinda...
Yeah, they're all just sort of staring deadpan.
Yeah.
She summons a little red flag from somewhere. He's like, okay, let's go, campers! And just leaves all of these people upstairs untended because the only 2 staff are her and Gary. God save you all. And you go down some stairs to go underneath the DMV. This is an area which has existed for a long time. You can tell immediately. Like, you don't need to do perception. You're like, this is a dead-ass dungeon. Huh. Like, you just go downstairs and you just get that vibe that you both know so well, especially with the ruins of Ruindal that Antler has been so familiar with. It just smells kind of... It's not like damp, but it is dank. It's got like the atmosphere, and it's all made out of stone. It's very gloomy down here, but there are some lit up stones in the wall, so you can tell already this place is humming with magic. It's deeply magical, and everything that the DMV does is to do with it. So you get into this main area, and she says, okay, so like, I don't know how you want to do this, but there's like a bunch of rooms, and she gestures at the wall with her little red flag, and indeed, you can see a map. I will say that there is a map on the wall. You can't take it with you, so you can either try and memorize it or draw it down.
Antler's going to have a look, and I think he's just going to try and memorize it.
Okay, make me an intelligence check.
Straight intelligence?
Straight intelligence.
Alright. I can do that.
An 18. Good. Okay, so I will say that you have got a pretty damn good grasp. When I ask you later if you want to refer to this specifically, I may ask you to roll history, but I will give you advantage.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds fair.
Zan has the feat Keen Mind, which means he can accurately recall anything he's seen or heard in the last month.
Oh, shit!
So,
well, there we go. In that case, I will pin it, and then you can just refer to it. So that negates that entire issue. Great!
Oh, wait, yeah, I also have Keen Mind.
Okay! I didn't notice that on either character sheet. Whoops! Well, okay, fine. There's your map. You have this map. You know the map. Engineer has a look at it, but he's more of an instinct-based creature anyway, so he's not going to be too worried about it. As soon as you get downstairs, Itch has just fucking gone. He's just left. He's like in, and it's just like, okay, bye. Alright! However, the rest of you are still in this room, so there are 7 people left, including BMP. I don't know if you want her to be included in this expedition, but you can divvy them up however you like, or you can just, like, let everybody do what they're gonna do. BMP basically seems to be wanting you to do that. It's just like, just go and find something and fix it.
Very, very well. While we do that, however, perhaps it is best that you see that the crowd upstairs does not start a rebellion while we're gone.
Are you trying to tell me how to do my job? I want you to roll either intimidation or persuasion at disadvantage just because of who she is.
Intimidation and persuasion have the same thing, but I'm doing it as persuasion.
Okay.
Because Antler's attempting to be cordial here.
Yeah, I will say
16 at my lowest.
I mean, a 16 isn't bad, but she looks very sulky. She's like, fine, but I'm coming back down just so I know that you haven't made anything worse. And she does the sort of finger pointing at her eye, and back to you, and then back to her eyes. And then she floats upstairs again, but she somehow manages to sashay while she's doing it, like as if she's doing the sassy walk away from you. Okay, so BMP has been removed temporarily from the equation. What would you like to do?
Antler's gonna give Xana just a look of, well, might as well get started.
Yep. And it has just like he's been studying the map, looking at it carefully, and goes, well, nothing to do but start. And he will give Antler a sort of very exhausted grin, and then I guess he'll head up the north hallway.
By himself?
I mean, Antler is free to follow him.
I think Antler's thinking of Yeah, you know what? Because Antler doesn't. He knows the map, but he doesn't. A map's great to know directions, but it's not great to actually know the the area itself and what's in what room.
Yeah.
So he's actually gonna. And I think he says this to the other people who are still there with them. We shall stick together for now and see where the actual problem lies, then go from there.
Smack your luck. Smack the luck.
Right then.
Like, you haven't actually given them any
Not
explicit
going to.
directions. Like, do you want them to go with you guys or not?
By all means, you are welcome to follow if you intend to be helpful.
Schmeculok! And Schmeculok goes and cartwheels down the right corridor away from you. Okay, you are left with...
No intention to be helpful.
Yeah. Actually, I will say, just because the Red Dragonborn is a fairly sensible person, and he doesn't say anything, he just puts his hands up, sighs, gives you a nod, and follows Schmeculok, like, to see where this thing has gone, and try and keep an eye on him. The engineer is not sure which way to go, and I will roll D2 to see which way he goes. Okay, he's going with you. That's good, because the title of this game would otherwise be inaccurate. Cool. Okay. So, likewise, the engineer gives a little shrug and is like, alright, I'll go with you two.
Antler's gonna look over at Gary, because he knows Gary is still there.
Oh god, Gary. God, I actually forgot about Gary. I'm sorry, Gary.
Gary? I forgot about Gary, the average teenager?
Gary, the average teenager.
Unbelievable.
Sweats, and the engineer just says, go after that lot. And Gary salutes and scampers off after the Red Dragonborn, who's still in sight. The Red Dragonborn seems to be fairly protective, and you can see him sort of give you guys the equivalent of a thumbs up with his heraldic tail on the way out. He's a nice guy. Okay, so y'all are heading up the North Corridor. Is there anything you would like to do in the environment?
Trying to think of what to. I want to roll just to.
I'm just gonna imply when one has gone into a new place, what is traditionally the thing that one rolls in a game with D&D?
I'm gonna roll perception.
Yeah, baby.
I was debating between perception and investigation because they're trying to search for a problem.
It's true.
Anyways,
I think we'll get
it was a
into
30.
the investigation rolls pretty soon. Oh, that's very good. Oh, I'm supposed to roll as well. Good job, me.
In any case,
You are.
my perception and my investigation have the same modifier, so
Okay.
+5 by the way.
Okay. Yep. 13. Gosh, engineer, that's not really very good. Maybe I think the engineer is still kind of interested in you two, and sidles up to Zan.
Give him a break. He has no eyes.
Yeah. He's a director with no eyes, I know. The hypocrisy. I think he manages to sidle up to you, Zan, without Antler being too nearby, though with that 20 you could probably still hear him.
He's got the big ears.
He says, so what's the deal with cheekbones over there?
I think you actually do get the laugh out of Sam with that. Goes, that's a fabulous question, honestly. He is, he's a politician, so I guess he knows how to command a room.
There's a dip of the ears at that word. But he doesn't, dislike him immediately, but, yeah, there's a little bit of a, you feel like this guy's had some past with politicians.
Who hasn't?
Mm-hmm. Beef. We have it. Okay, sorry, you rolled very well with perception, I should address that. He is listening. Whilst doing so, with the 20 and the 17, they are absolutely fine. Again, you just observe that this is a very ancient place, and you strongly suspect, if not know, that this place underneath the DMV is much older than the DMV. This is somewhere that has basically been re-serviced to function as the DMV. And you can tell why, because it is just steeped in magic. It's like you can smell it in the air, and you can smell quite a lot of other things in the air too. Woo! Hey, you think this is mold or something? And as you're walking down the middle of these corridors, there's this lattice gratework on the floor and on the ceiling, and it makes your footfalls reverberate. And likewise, it makes other people's footfalls reverberate. So distantly, you can hear little scribblings and scrabblings and patterings and clompings. And with the 20 antler, you can tell like the clomp, clomp, shh sound down that way is probably the dragonborn because of its wings and tail. And the one up ahead going along the ceiling might be terrifying if you didn't know what itch is like. So, people are actually going around having a good little look around this place.
Okay. Now you said it, this place looks very old. Would this... That leads me to ask, would this part of the DMV be familiar to Antler?
I don't think so.
Is it that old, or...
I think
no?
it's a...
All right.
I think it's a hidden kind of old.
Okay. Next question being, how's the lighting in here?
The lighting is okay. Every other couple of steps, like basically every 5 bricks, there's a brick set into the wall which is engraved with a lighting rune. And they are basically in the corridors, they're a pale white light. So everything's very stark. It's not warm lighting. This is like, when you're in, say a subway, you have very functional lighting, and it's very much like that. But when you manage to get to a junction, which you come upon fairly soon, if you notice the map, diagonally across from you, you see a different kind of glow coming towards you, and the light is green.
All right, and it's on both sides?
Oh yeah. It's at a distance. The little cubes on this map, each one of those is 5 feet.
Okay. I guess before he goes down, I don't know if you want me to make another perception check, but is there anything like that seems off from either rooms?
No, not at all. You don't sense anything in particular. No, you don't need to make another roll. I will say for you, just make me a little dex roll, just a little dex save, I think.
I'm making a dex save?
Yeah, you are. Nobody else.
Ah, lovely. It's gonna be a straight D20. It's 14.
One of your antlers got stuck in some of the grating on the ceiling. Oh, I knew that was going to cause trouble. Hang on. And you are climbed up by this small orange thing who just, grabs hold of your antler very unceremoniously and kicks off from the ceiling, so you are unstuck.
Yes, by all means. You are free to climb. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Also, yes, thank you for getting me unstuck.
You can tell, like, he just has a slightly shit-eating smile. It's just like, he just did that on purpose to annoy you.
Is he still, like... Is that you just standing on on Antler's shoulders now?
Yeah, probably for a bit, and then he swings off your antler like it's a climbing frame and lands on the floor in front of you. Also, don't mind me rolling dice.
Antler
That's not something you have to worry about. Okay.
Yeah, Antler just kind of gives a flick of the ear before he's gonna just continue down the hall. I think he doesn't see anything obviously wrong from the green room, so he's gonna, unless Zan wants to, he's gonna continue down the hallway.
It's entirely up to you guys. You're in a crossroads right now.
I mean, we're at the green, right?
Mm-hmm. There's a green glow from either side of you. The corridor you're in has this pale white light. You can't really tell what room is in front of you if you remember it from the map, but you don't know what's in it.
Right. And Zan goes, hold on a minute, Antler. We should check and see if there's something in here in need of our interference.
If you think so, I would think though whatever problem is causing whatever problem is happening will be rather obvious, but if you feel the need, and he'll walk back.
Then we'll, I think, go to the one on the left side first.
Okay.
Antler will go to the right.
Okay. Okay, so Zan, you are right. There's a problem in your room. Antler, there is not a problem in the green room that you decided to go to. Engineer has decided to stay in the middle because you both went different ways, and he's like, alright, well, I guess I'll just watch out here. So, Zan, you are in this squarish green room. It's fairly sparse, and I have asked you both to come up with a puzzle to help me along, because then it's more fun for all of us. So, I think that Fable, I think this should be your puzzle.
Alright then. Hey Yuni.
Hey, what?
Yuni, you want to make a roll for me?
Okay,
Do
what
want-
kind of roll?
Would you make an investigation roll for me?
Oh, okay, I can do that.
You did ask us to make very simple puzzles though, so
Oh,
I don't
absolutely,
know
yeah.
if this is gonna be too
Baby
easier.
block puzzles.
It's a 24. Yeah. Yeah, it's not, because I imagine there are runes along the walls here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just along the walls though. It is also along the floors on the tiles, and you see them change up colors now and again, but there's one tile that is not there's not lighting up.
Okay. Zan's gonna take a look at that one.
By the looks of it, each time. God, it was a 24 investigation. Dang it.
That's the problem. Both of us are freaking brainiacs. It's hard to trip us
yeah,
up.
they're freaking brainiacs, so I have to basically give it to you. Each tile, when they light up, they make a little bing 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 sound when they light up. But this one that is not lighting up is not making the sound it is making is kind of like a crunch sound.
Oh no.
Kind of like something's stuck.
Oh dear. I think the question is, like, is there something like stuck in the sides around the tile, or then I think Zan is going to, like, carefully, like, maybe with mage hand, so he doesn't touch unfamiliar magical circuitry with his bare hands. He'll use mage hand to, like, try and sort of move the tile to investigate what might be blocking.
Okay, I'm still gonna have you make a dex check though while you do that.
Understandable. That is great.
13. 13 is not terrible, but as you're feeling along with mage hand, there it does feel like as you feel within the seams with the seams of the top of the tile, it does feel like there is something there that might be a little bit like wedged, but it's not something your mage hand is strong enough to get out.
Oh dear.
Yeah, right in
Alright.
there.
I think I found something. Will you help me for a moment, actually?
All right. And potters along and joins you. Oh, all right. This is a disco.
Bing, 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 bing.
I'm so tempted to
Bing,
finish. Bing, 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 bing. Okay. The director is waiting
Ding
for
dong dong
directions.
ding.
Yeah, Edgy, Edgy, I don't know if you want to make the same. I don't think you really need to because you see Zan at the top.
Yeah, I
At
feel
the
like he
tile
would
using
ask
Mage Hand on
Zan,
it.
like, so what do you need from me?
Yeah.
There's something wedged in here, and I can't. I'm afraid if I go into it, I might damage something.
Well, I can have a go. I'm not famous for delicacy, but I am fairly dexterous.
Yes. How about this? I will. You are a mechanic. I am a mage. I'm sure we can pool our resources together and get this out properly. And so Zan's hope is like he can instruct you like where not to touch, how not to get the magical equivalent of electrocuted to get whatever's in there out.
That would be very awesome. Fable, how do you want us to do this?
Make perception checks for me.
Me? Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Both of us.
Oh my
are just...
god, this
You're
dunker
lucky.
rolls! I mean, I guess it's more fun as an 11. Oh. Whoa.
Angie, you are trying to puzzle out how to go about this carefully, which, of no offense to the engineer, but carefully. Anyways,
Yeah.
but Zan with the 26, looking, staring at the ruins is not going to get you much answers. But if you look around the room, along the edges, on the wall, there are a few boxes. Not a lot. It looks like maybe a few supply crates, but on a few of them are a few tools, wrenches, screwdrivers, just a few tools that have kind of just been left out by someone who's probably like in the middle of working and left them there and kind of forgot about them.
Oh boy. And then like he will go over. He'll like pick up a screwdriver and just sort of stare at like someone using like are there bolts and screws in this stone dungeon?
With a 26, you'd be the one who'd know.
Yeah, really. He's just a little bit like, oh, right. Tune stuff. Okay.
With the 26, you do not see any bolts or screws.
Yeah. He's all right. Here we go. And he's just gonna like be like, maybe we can use a screwdriver as like a lever of some sort to get it. I don't know what
That's
I'm
where
doing.
I was thinking.
I'm
but...
sorry.
No, don't be.
All right.
Spaghetti at the wall, see if it sticks.
Indeed. So they will, try and use their ape brains and be like, aha, tools.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You gotta describe to me a bit more what you're doing with it.
Sorry, they're just like, all right, we can sort of wedge this in to get better leverage on whatever's in there.
Okay, roll strength.
Oh boy, that's Zan's favorite thing.
Or you could give it to the guy who has the strength bonus, but like, I mean, it's up to you. This is funnier.
I think it would be better if Zan tries first.
It is funnier.
And then, yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, that does not do. Yeah, 12. You tried to get. I'll give you this. You wedged the screwdriver into the edge, and you tried to. lift the tile a little bit. And no, sorry, Zan, you 12's not gonna do it, but you do hear sort of crunch. You do hear that crunching sound again.
Mm-hmm.
That ordinarily doesn't signify something good.
No, I don't think it does.
Do you want me to have a crack at it?
Would you mind?
I mean, at least that way, then both of us are to blame if we pick something up. So what, should I make a strength?
Yes, please.
Just plain strength. Okay, that's it. +5 because of my awesome new belt. Yes, okay. There we go. That's a 22. Whew.
And you in like 2 seconds you just pop, the tile immediately just pops out of place.
Oh.
And you are able to see the underworkings as it were, which I'm trying to think of how to describe it, but like magical tech, I don't know what magical technology would look like, but it's essentially magical wiring.
Mm-hmm. I will say, like, to keep in keeping with how I imagine this dungeon to look, it looks kind of like veins. I mean, it's not like this place is alive. It's more like, you know how rivers resemble veins, or leaves resemble rivers, and, you know, it's got this sort of fractal sense to it, so that you're looking at it and you're like, this could be a mechanism in a clockwork thing, or I could be looking at a tiny city. I don't know which it is, and that's kind of fucking up my brain a bit.
Okay, but this actually works for what I was thinking, because in the very center of this this weird these weird vein-like things, you see kind of slap dab in the middle a shard of what looks to be just glass stuck in between one of the veins that seems to be cutting off sort of the magical connection between some of the veins.
An insulator in the wrong place.
Right. Then is a little bit surprised to see it, and he will carefully work on sort of prying the bit of glass loose.
Could you make me a dex save, please?
Yay!
Good luck.
$15. Okay, that's actually just makes it. Zan, you touch this piece of glass and you immediately feel that sort of for you it just comes off as a sort of static shock of like electrical magic. And for you, Zan, who's very familiar with magic and the handling of it, and just this just feels like a small static shock to you. So you are not too affected, and you are able to wedge the glass out with no issue. And as you do, you send just for the humor of it, all the tiles in unison do the bing.
I like that noise.
All the tiles light up at once, and thank you. And the veins, by some magical means, manage to kind of weave themselves back together as now the obstruction has been removed.
Awesome.
Zan is peering at this this little tidbit and just being like, how on earth did this get under there?
That's a mighty fine question, but it's suited that now.
Yes, hopefully this means things should be back in order.
Okay,
Thank
just
you
real
for your
quick.
help.
Oh, it's no problem, And we zip over the corridor to Antler. Antler, you've realised pretty quickly that this room has bupkis, there's nothing here, and you have turned around to leave.
Yeah.
However, just because of something I've just rolled, your passive perception is 15. I'm gonna say that just like on the palest edge of your hearing, you hear a sort of... And you can't tell which direction it came from. It's like, it was very muted. Might have just been, like how on a basketball court, sometimes your foot makes that sort of squeaky noise. Could have just been that. But, you heard something.
Hold on, I'm just checking. You said each square is, 5 feet, yeah?
That's true.
Alright. Well, Antler has message, and that has a range of 120.
Mm-hmm.
And Antler is actually gonna cast message to... In his mind, he's gonna think towards, Gary. And just be like... I just heard a sound. Was that one of you?
Let me just check. I'm not good at math, so I can't tell how far away that is.
Well,
I think
if it's through stone, I think that might reduce.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that you hear a very muffled. You hear.
Huh? Is that sound talking in my brain? That's very scary.
Hold on, I'm just checking real quick. I'm just checking the spell.
No,
spell
it's
real
fine.
quick
I
and
just kind of
like...
like the idea of Gary just out of fucking nowhere getting this creepy voice in his head, and he's just like, "What the fuck?"
Deep
Lorna.
breaths, deep breaths, Gary. It is just Adler.
Okay.
You never introduced yourself to this kid.
Well, he says his name's Antler, and he has antlers. So if Gary is smart, Gary will put 2 and 2 together.
You may not realize this. Gary is not that smart. Hang on. Let me make an intelligence roll for Gary. That's a straight D20. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, yeah, he puts 1 and 1 together and gets 2. He's like, "Oh, hello, Mr.
Yes. Calm down. I'm just checking in. How are things on your end?
Oh, we're all fine here.
What?
I said we're all fine here.
All right.
Oh, I'm
Any
gonna go with that
problems?
little nose and it just ran off again. Okay, bye.
And you hear this bye sort of tail off mentally, so you can gauge by this that he's gone slightly out of your range.
Antler will hum. Then he will have one more look around the room that he's in, just to
Yeah, sure. I mean,
give it a
I will say that just keep it on theme with your puzzle. It seems to have a musical light type arrangement, but the tune is working absolutely fine, and you don't sense that there's any problems in here. Again, it's not warm lighting. It actually makes you feel a bit sickly being in the green rooms. It's not the nicest decor, but it does what it has to do.
I think as he's leaving the room, I'm gonna roll just perception, because Antler is now just keeping his ears up and just flicking them in different directions just to try and gauge where he might have heard that sound coming from. As 15.
It's the same as before. You can't figure out which direction it came from. It was very muffled. Could have been absolutely nothing. It really could have.
Really could have.
And you're pretty sure this is the
Still
sort of
just gotta
place that
keep
might
his ears
have
open.
rats or mice or large cockroaches, and who knows what noises those make. So,
Yeah, that's very possible. He's still gonna keep an ear out for that as well, because he'd rather not have to deal with those either.
no, nobody likes those, especially when they stop flying. Okay, shall we meet up in the corridor again?
Yeah.
Indeed.
I
Okay.
feel like Antler's waiting there by the time Zan and an engineer are there. Come back, blah. Words. I can word, I swear.
It's okay. Alright, so ours was a success. How about you?
No problems as far as I can tell.
Alright.
Well, that's good to hear.
So, I guess we're going down this way, and the engineer is going to take the initiative and go to the north. And you walk down this corridor. I shall roll more dice. Oh, fun. Okay, I'm assuming that you just keep walking to the north. You can do things while we're walking if you like. And that includes conversation. Though we should probably keep things moving.
I was actually...
But conversation is good.
I imagine there's a bit of just light chatter as they're walking.
So, politics.
Okay.
Which side of the fence are you on?
Side? How do you mean?
Well, generally people talk about a left and a right.
Oh, I don't care for... Can't say I care for either, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, he's sort of like, all right. How very diplomatic of you.
And what of you? What is your area of expertise?
Politics or otherwise?
I'm asking what you do.
You don't know? And he actually looks a little bit amazed.
If you are someone of importance, I'm afraid I am a bit behind the times, so you'll have to forgive me.
Well, it's not often I feel young, but I'm a movie maker, if you must know, an entertainer.
Movie. Ah, yes, that's one of those. Right, that's more of a recent thing these days.
The engineer sort of looks past Antler and is kind of doing the "is this guy for real?" expression at Zan.
And Zane has just got this sort of wry grin of like, yeah.
Well, you're not the first person I've
Antler
met who's
actually is
familiar, so I can forgive you. I'll, well, maybe someday your friend here can introduce you to some of my work.
Well, there was some talk of a movie theater being built in the town I am in charge of, so perhaps
you're in that,
perhaps I will
what's it
indulge and
called? Smallville? What's it called?
Little Corner.
Little Corner, that's it. Yes, I did hear they were opening a new film show police thing. I don't know what people like to call them. Theatres these days.
Is that all you heard?
Pretty much. I mean, I follow what's happening in the movies. Can you blame me?
No, I suppose I cannot. And Antler kind of just looks over at Zan, Zan, I'm sure you know all the stuff that's been happening in Little Corner.
Zan is just like quietly dying as two people who are very famous in different areas of reality have no idea who the other one is, and it's incredible.
As you're having this
Antler
kind
of just squints.
Oh no, you go.
He just squints at Zan because Zan's amusement is probably obvious, and Antler's just like in his own mind is just like, yes, of course you're enjoying this.
In this sort of slightly comedic moment, we step into a red room, and it's a sort of cherry red. It's not like aggressive, everything is bad red, but it's a red lit room, and I would like us all to make perception check. 19.
Perception. 20 plus 5.
Oh my god, that 27 though. Wow! Gee! Zan is on
Adding a
it!
+8 to something really helps.
I mean, a 16 is not bad either, and that was the lowest one. Okay, so we're all stood in this red room. There's nothing wrong with the red room. It's fine. There's no problems here. We check all the surfaces, and there is like a big hummy round thing in the middle, but it's fine. Everything seems to be working. But from the corridor to the east, to our right, we can hear, basically all three of us, but two of us better than the other, that there is some noise. There is something not right in some part of one of those regions in that direction. And the engineer's like, well, okay, so this is fine, but that is not, so I suggest that we find the thing that is not.
Agreed. Reasonable. they'll head down that way, I guess.
Okay, and fairly quickly, because I would say we're moving fairly quickly because we know that doesn't sound like it's working. We meet a split in the road with that 27. Fucking 27. We head to the right because we absolutely know that the noise is definitely coming from down there, and it's a weird sort of. And you're like, what the hell is that? So we go into this room, I assume.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So all three of us are in this grey room, and you wouldn't have thought that light could be grey, but it kind of is in here, and it's weird and makes everybody look really washed out. Like, we aren't fully desaturated, but we all kind of look a little bit monotone in here. It's very, very peculiar. It's almost like it's unlight. It very, very strange. And yes, in the middle of this room, there is a chassis, some sort of machine that has basically, it kind of looks like it's been either stuck down to something that existed here before, or it's grown it's grown a metal thing around it. It's very strange. So yeah, this is the thing that is absolutely making a noise that sounds like a thing that shouldn't be making that noise.
Zan just looks at it, he's like, well, I can tell something's wrong, but not for the life of you tell you what.
Okay,
Indeed, I would not
suspect that this is a good time for rolling investigation.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mechanics.
This is
mechanics.
fun.
Oh boy. 17.
He does have an 8.
Antler is staring at this thing with a...
It's very good.
I feel like only Zan would be able to tell, but he's staring at this thing with
That's a nat 20, though.
That is a nat 20.
That is. I am quite astonished. But I mean, because I have a plus nothing in investigation, unless it's to do with machines of clockwork. There's a different thing. So, Kai, thank you very much for giving me a thing for that. Finally, it only feels allowed when it's another DM that gives you it. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we all kind of rocked that. Antler, with your 17, I think you're more curious about it rather than potentially what's wrong with it, because it really does look strange. It's not organic. It is very much cubes and rock and metal. But again, with the other thing, it's like this crossing over of the natural world and the mechanical and the magical.
It's very intriguing to him.
It is.
Because he's never. I don't think he would have seen something like this. Quite like it, maybe similar, but not quite like this before.
No, it's pretty unique.
It does very much intrigue him.
This place is very unique, and again, aged. It feels secret. It feels like something that has been utilized for a modern purpose, and you don't know what it was originally about, or if anybody made it exactly, or maybe it just existed. It's a mystery. However, with the 23 from Zan and a nat 20 from the engineer, you investigate this thing very successfully, and I will find the description. Okay, so the machine has a thick crystal-fronted panel on the front of it, and you realise that this isn't just like a slab of crystal rock. You can see into it. It's basically a window, but again, has it grown? Has it been put there? You can't tell. And inside, you can see that there is a hollow place inside this machine, and it has various little tubes leading out of it. One might be reminded, if one knew what it looked like, the inside of a heart. But there are pieces of grit and a few leaves inside it, and it looks like they're just getting stuck in places. With that investigation, we also managed to find something that looks like a manual reset. It's like a big clunky lever. You know those big throw switches that everybody loves? Those ones. It's one of those. And that looks like it has definitely been put there by a person. This hasn't grown naturally. That's been something that's been put in.
And, Zan will take a moment, like, the reset lever, does it, like, like turn it off for a minute, or
Have you used it yet?
oh, let's. And Zan's just like, okay, fine. We'll just. And he will go over and throw the switch.
Okay, you throw the switch, and nothing happens. It keeps making this really ugly sort of noise, and it gets kind of worse. And I'm just gonna take the luck roll where it has been given to me, if you'll permit it. And because of that nat 20, the engineer is sort of like already looking for something to do with suction. This is a machine that's trying to form a vacuum, and it isn't succeeding. And what he does is he pulls one of the feathers out of his tail, and he holds it and starts walking around the machine, and is looking for where the feather meets air resistance and is pulled. And eventually it does start to react, but it is right sort of tucked around, and the feather just goes out of his fingers, and there is a crack. There is a crack in a pipe leading into this mechanism. So the air is just going into that crack, and the pressure isn't dropping inside. Well, that's the problem. How we solve it is another thing.
I think Antler had started seeing what Engineer was doing, was followed along. How big would you say the crack is?
Hey, you can roll investigation on the crack. That's a sentence nobody should take out of context. Please. I only just realized.
Don't worry, we are all responsible.
CP. A 9. You have no idea
A 9.
what the deal with this crack is. It's you. I will say, like, you were asking how big it is. You can't actually tell. Like, you can see how far it goes on the outside, but part of you is like, is it longer on the inside? Is this the only crack? Is there more damage? How did it get damaged? But you can't answer those questions with a 9.
I think he's gonna look at Engineer and just say, well, I could try mending it, if you think that might work.
It's worth a shot. I mean, I'm supposing that you just mean magically, because mending it was generally what I had in mind overall.
I think Antler will just raise a hand, and the palm of his hand will start to glow a pale blue before he places it over the crack to start mending.
Okay, I will say that part of it mends. But it's still kind of making that wheezing noises. So, like, Zan, do you want to do anything?
Zan will take a moment to see. Hold on, I got distracted by something for a second there. Sorry.
Move, honestly. Oh, actually, speaking of which. Okay. Carry on.
I just hear dice being rolled, and I'm just like, fear.
It is a natural response. It's just nice using real dice once in a while. Wow.
He reaches into his robe, pulls out his sort of component pouch, and we'll do a similar thing as the engineer, looking for any sort of sign of suction with a little, like, maple leaf that he pulls out.
Oh, cute. Okay, roll investigation, but with advantage, because we've basically solved the problem and blah blah blah. So 15 is pretty good.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, 15's the top one.
Yep, 15 is fine. You find the rest of the cracks and seal it up. So we have solved the problem. I'm just gonna roll just one more of those. Holy shit, what the fuck?
That doesn't have a nat 20.
What the fuck? With no moderators,
Dang.
that's very ludicrously weird. I I hope this doesn't come to bite me in the ass later when I need them. She said. So yeah, you two fix the crack, and whilst you're doing that, the engineer is just watching and is thinking about this breakage. And after you've finished, he is looking contemplative in a sort. It's weird because he has no face, but like the crinkles on the top of his muzzle are kind of like a little bit more emphasized than before, and he's just like thinking.
Yeah, I think at the last quote unquote crack, Antler kind of pauses and I'm gonna roll a investigation. I guess would it be investigation, perception? I'm not sure.
For doing what?
Well, just because it's weird that there are this many cracks.
You could just
thing.
ask the
And
guy who just got a nat 20 who stood in front of you, and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, you know what? He's just yeah. He I think Antler thinks about it for a moment, then he sees Engineer, who looks much more contemplative about it, and just, as a gander, just says out loud, I'm not so certain that these are just simply cracks.
And the
They
engineer
seem far too numerous for that.
The engineer nods and points at it and says, that crack was made from the inside out. And then all of the lights turn off. So let's have a little break. It's half time, I think. I think it's been an hour and a half, right? So
yeah, right about.
Yeah.
Right about.
So let's have a 5-minute break. We have just been plunged into darkness, and that, I think, is a fairly good place to leave us for a little cliffhanger. And thank you very much for doing puzzles to help my ass, because, coming up with things is hard when your brain decides to write a story, and then you have to write that and do that, and also get your comic done on time, so I'm really grateful.
Gentle Pat. You've worked so hard. You've been busy, Mod, and very grateful that you were making this game.
I love playing with
Give
you
you big
guys.
hugs.
Anytime, it's so much fun. 2 nat 20s, what the hell? Okay, I'm gonna go
That's 2 nat 20s.
have a little stretch, eat a biscuit, and generally make noises off screen like screaming. Okay, see you in a bit.
I'm gonna pause the recording.
Yeah. There you go. Anyway, blah. How are we doing?
Doing good.
We
I
good?
drew a little sketch during.
Where?
Drew a
Where
little
is it?
sketch.
I drew a little sketch. It's because me and Abu are just brain rotting in DMs and
Good.
just soft.
Oh
Just,
boy.
I love
Hold on,
soft.
I'll put it in chat.
Aw,
So cute.
Dad.
It's baby. Oh,
He's dad now.
Bubble.
he's dad now.
Yeah. Being dad is so good. God, these Toonkind DnD games have really let me go feral on the adoption front. It's dangerous. I love people's characters, and I'm like, I just want to look after them.
Adoption. It's good shit. It's good. It's a bit of that found family shit.
It's that good
you know?
kush. Okay.
Good. It's good.
It is good. Speaking of
Alright.
good kush, are we gonna go back into the bullshit that I just landed us in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me when to unpause.
Yeah,
recording.
anytime now. Anytime now.
Boop. We're back.
Okay. So, welcome back. We are in pitch black. It's dark, and for a second or two, it just remains absolutely pitch black. Do either of you have dark vision? I don't think you do.
No, but Antler will tap his staff about 2 times before 3 pastel light dancing lights, little orbs appear in the air.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Zan pulls out his wand and casts light on it.
Yeah, the engineer is all, all right, I was about to, but okay. And you see him take his hand off the hilt of his giant flaming sword. But yeah, it's like, okay, we can see. And actually, after the 2 seconds of utter darkness, which you quickly alleviate, which is very good, there is a sort of... and it's almost like a backup lighting system. So those bricks that were lighting up before, they're still not working out. But there are, like, threads, again, like veins running between some bricks that just give you the slightest glow to go by. It's like marking where the outside edges of the corridor are, so you can at least not walk straight into them, but it's not adequate lighting. You're not even sure if they already were glowing, but you just couldn't see it before because of the other light. It's that sort of situation. Yeah. So, yeah. That just happened, and indeed, the engineer just says, well, that just happened.
Indeed.
Bless you. Do you want a handkerchief?
I do.
No, I'm fine.
You sure? Alright. Okay, that was unnecessarily
I do
spooky.
hope that wasn't our doing.
I'm gonna say make an intelligence check. Or, like, even an insight check would work for that.
Yeah, it's the same modifier either way. 14.
Should do one too. Wow, 11. Super good rolls. We don't know. The highest is a 14. You're pretty sure we didn't cause it, but, like, you don't know enough about this place, to be fair, to be absolutely certain. So we're kind of like, maybe we caused that.
Is the weird mechanism thing, is that still running, or is it out?
It's working now. Yeah, instead of making that horrible sucking noise, you can just hear this steady sort of... And if you look through the crystal panel that we looked through before, you can't see anything clogging it. Indeed, if we'd been looking at that panel when the lever was operated, the time it had been fixed, basically a shutter opened so that all the detritus got sucked out, and now the usual air courseway is free.
No, I do not know what happened, but I'm very doubtful. I'm very doubtful we are the cause of it. As he's talking, I just want to say as a flavor thing that his dancing lights have started sort of flying around and exploring the room. They have, they paused by Zan and have danced around his head a little bit, just as a sort of hello. And they've definitely paused by Engineer in a sort of very curious, because his dance, I've said this before, Antler's dancing lights act like their own little fairies sort of deal.
Oh my god, that's
little
so
minds
good. Yeah, I'd forgotten
their
that.
own, essentially.
That's so good.
So they pause by Engineer and make little bell sounds before going back to exploring the room.
Just for more flavour, because we love the flavour. What colour are they?
They are pastel colors, so it's a pastel, gold, blue, and purple, I think.
Cute. We have mood lighting. Okay, so it's kind of been like a bit of a but it's okay because your boyfriend's here, Zen. We're okay. Nothing has happened aside from that, and I will say, due to rolls that I made, which you heard, none of us noticed anything. Nothing.
That's fine. That's probably fine.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
Well,
Alright, so hanging around here isn't going to do anything. Shall we just keep going or go back? It seems like a bit of a problem, this shot out.
well, we might as well.
Yes, we might need to find the breaker, as it were.
I like the play on words.
May as well press.
Okay, do we go back
May as
into the
well
corridor?
Zan gives like a very awkward sort of like finger guns of like, haha, yeah, that was on purpose.
Honestly, just because of the finger guns, I'm gonna give you inspiration point. That's just the mental image of that is too pure. You gotta have it.
Antler looks at Zan when he does that, just goes, "What on earth are you doing?"
And Zan just sort of like smirks and like gives, not even smirks, just like gives a little shrug and a smile, and They will head back out.
Okay.
Roll insight on Antler.
Oh, insight time for Antler.
Yeah, why not answer? Well, this is some insight.
Should I roll it too?
I mean, you both can, yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay.
An 8. Boo!
Edgy.
He's walking in front. He's getting back to the job.
No.
Dink.
I can't give it to you. You know what? I'll give it to the audience.
Yeah.
As Zan is leaving the room, Antler's kind of just watching after him with just the slightest amused grin.
Ah, cute. Okay, we enter the corridor again, and yeah, it's dark. It's fucking dark. I mean, you've got your glowy little friends helping us out, but yeah, visibility past that point, not good, bad. What are we going to do? I wonder what we're going to do in a dark corridor.
Well, Dancing Lights has a range of 120 feet, and Antler's Dancing Lights like to explore.
Okay, cool.
So
where are you sending them? Goddamn wizards.
I mean, no, sorcery, baby.
Oh,
This is
sorcery, of course. Sorry.
Well, either way, I'm gonna say, but hold on, I want to check real quick how much.
It says me right for
light
never
one
using
gives.
that cantrip.
It's a good cantrip, honestly. But each light sheds a dim light in a 10-foot radius. Okay, so he's gonna send. Yeah. So one is going to explore down ahead of them. The other is going to explore behind them, and then one is just gonna stay with them.
Okay, so ahead, I'm assuming you're going to send one to the orange room,
Yeah.
and one is going back to the red room.
Yep.
And you don't have, like you can't see through these lights, right? You know, they're not like little sentient things that you can borrow the vision of.
No. Them having a little personality of their own is just a flavor thing. Mechanically, no. Antler cannot see through these.
Just checking. I don't know. I don't want to ruin your steers. Okay, so you send lights out, and if we just stand there and watch for a second, the one that goes to the red room has appeared in the red room, and you can just see it at the end of the corridor. And likewise, the one that goes up ahead is in a different room, but we can't tell it's the orange room because the lights aren't working.
But nothing immediate from where they're standing in the hallway?
Nope, you can't see anything wrong with the hallway. It's just like it was, but dark.
Cool. Antler's just gonna start walking forward.
Okay. I'm gonna roll a
he'll
perception
check
check,
to make sure
even
that
if
Zan
none of
and
you are
Angie are
going to,
following.
so... Okay,
I mean,
engineer
okay.
with a 22. Is he actually going to hear anything? No, he's not.
Roll perception as well.
Okay.
15.
Zan, you want to get in on this perception?
I must.
I mean, we got it covered. Oh, there's a dirty 20. Okay, yeah, Antler, again, I think you get mildly distracted because you suddenly are reminded that this is a low ceiling that you have already got stuck in before. So you sort of clang against it, because in this dark corridor, even with your lights, 15 isn't going to give you much. It just looks the same as usual. The engineer and Zan, however, it's not so much seeing as hearing. Because before, you remember I told you, like, the grids we're walking on are, like, metal and hollow underneath, so we were hearing sounds of people walking on it in different places. We can't hear that now? There's a distinct lack of vibration and external noises apart from the magical hum of the runes, and indeed as we enter this orange room, which has various hanging parts. It's like a boiler room. Feels like that kind of situation, but again, are they pipes or are they blood vessels or are they intestines? It's all a bit organic in here. But there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it, especially with those perception checks. This space seems to be functioning. In fact, because I want to be nice to us with the 22, we find? What did we find? I have a list of things that we find. Ah, okay. Yeah, as we're walking through this space, we remember Itch, our good old friend Itch, who has he has a flavoured wand, which looks a bit like a laser pistol, squirt gun thing, very rounded sort of thing. That's lying on the floor. It's just by itself.
Yeah, Antler sees that, and he's gonna cast message again, just to... Itch, are you close by?
There is no response.
Gonna... Remembering the map, he's now gonna try... Gary, can you hear me?
No response. In fact, it's almost like the magical mental equivalent of beep, 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 beep.
Awesome.
Antler's just gonna have his staff ready.
Yeah, engineer is very
yeah,
much
Sam will say.
edgy now.
All right, backs together. Zan, Zan will basically position himself so he will be watching the direction behind them as they move forward.
Fair enough. Engineer is
Yeah,
going to ignite his fiery sword, and just by instinct is going to try to lead the way, but Antler might not like that, I don't know.
He'll allow it with all the... Engie might know this. His name is the engineer.
Yeah.
So he, by putting two and two together, will likely have a better idea of how to explore this room in particular better than Antler does, so...
That's a very nice observation, and I think partly because you allowed him to take the lead without getting up in his face about it, he's sort of giving you, mind that, duck that, to the left, bit more left, yeah, so you don't get tangled in these effectively vines. Again, very interesting pulsing magic going through all these places, and whispers of light in places, but really there is nothing to light your way now, and this only seems to get worse. So where are we heading
the dancing
now?
lights?
The dancing lights are helping, but what I mean is the environment is just there is, and you are underground. Cannot emphasize that enough. This is at least one story underground, and you feel like it might be deeper. It's deceptive because you only went down one spiral staircase, but it feels deeper than that staircase betrays.
To be fair, they didn't know how deep the DMV already was.
It's true. Okay, so in this room, aside from the entrance that we've come in from in the west, there is a sort of diagonal one going out at the east, or there's one that's directly to the south. I will let you guys pick which one we go down.
Before we proceed, you should both know I have tried messaging both Itch and Gary and have gotten no response.
Well, that's just peachy.
And I have no means of know. I do recall the map, but I have no means of knowing which way the others might have gone.
Wait, message? What, are you texting or something? How? What?
Antler just looks at Engineer, and Engineer, you don't see Antler's mouth move, but you hear his voice in your head just, no, with magic.
Okay, so
Actually,
that's...
to be specific, message does involve making a small audible whisper. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
That's it?
It's cool. Yeah. I know this. The engineer does not fucking know this. The -9 in Arcana is strong with this one. So yeah, he jumps a little bit, but he's also kind of like, okay, so that's. Can you do that to anybody? At any time? It's kind of weird.
Within range, and if I know them, yes.
So could you try to reach one of the other people?
I did, and I got no response.
Well, you only listed 2 people. There were more than 2 people.
And Antler once again. He looks so reluctant, but he looks up towards the ceiling and just goes, "Bumpy matter, princess, can you hear me?"
Yeah, babe!
You both just see a look on Antler's face. It's just like, yep. How are things going up there?
Pretty good, yeah. You the guy with the antlers?
Yes.
Ah, cool. Okay, yeah. How's it going? Have you fixed it yet?
We were, then all the lights went out.
Bummer.
Has anything happened up there?
What do you think?
Are the lights still on?
Nah, but the lights are still on, yeah. Just move your cabooses. People are getting angry again, and I want to finish this magazine.
Yup. You both just see Antler kind of just pinch the bridge of his nose, just like, okay. Deep breath. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Okay.
BP, is there anything up there that could tell you where we could find... What room would you... We are trying to find what will turn the lights back on down here.
Yeah,
We do not know what room.
Let me just look, and like you hear the mental equivalent of while she's like reading something. You know, that sort of chunnering that you do to yourself when you're trying to find something. She's like, it says something. God, this thing is it's gross. Gee, when did they print this thing? It's like falling apart.
Focus, please.
Purple. Something to do with purple?
Purple. Alright. Does it say anything about... Let's see, if I remember correctly, we'll have to go through yellow. Does it say anything about... Anything you could tell us about the yellow room on the way?
I think there's some stairs. There's like, yeah. Oh, no, you can't use those stairs.
Any particular reason why?
No, it's just got an X on it, so I would guess that was like, it broke. Anyway, hurry up! And she like hangs up on you, and you don't know how she did that.
Yeah, Antler kind of just like blinks a bit and just... How on... No, you know what? No, I do not want to know. Alright, we have to head to the purple room, which will be this way. And yeah, Antler will point in the direction of the yellow room.
On we go, and we go into the yellow room, and I'm gonna fast forward because things, and so the yellow room, there is a problem, and we can definitely tell, again, it's just the noise is weird in here. There's one person of us left who hasn't even done their puzzle, so what's the puzzle? What's the puzzle, Uni?
So, you enter the yellow room, and it's a little bit hard to tell from, the lights being out. But this room looks different from the other ones you've passed through, in that it is just filled with a lot of filing cabinets.
Okay.
Like,
You need
yeah,
cabinets. You do!
Oh joy.
And there are just, like, papers scattered all over various surfaces. There's a lot of files that have just been, like, pulled out, and then instead of being put back where they were meant to go, they got wedged in on top of the cabinets. And yeah, make a, I don't know, investigation check.
Cool.
Alright. Antler is gonna bring back all 3 dancing light orbs and just place them at different parts of the room so that way the whole room is lit up.
The engineer has a
I'm
distinct
sorry, this
dislike
was
of
perception?
anything to do with filing, so a 15 is as good as you could hope for.
That's a
Oh,
10.
good. Good. And I guess Zan does one too.
Yeah, there's our boy.
Zan does good.
Zan the Magic Man.
They are very good at this.
So yeah, here's the thing. Both of you are toons. Both of you see paperwork and just go, even, and like Antler, you know, again,
No,
you're
yeah, even
generally
Antler.
someone who's used to it, but
No one likes paperwork. No
it's
one.
still, this is a lot. And it looks like this goes back many years. And it's just a little bit overwhelming. And meanwhile,
here's-
Zan, he will sort of be looking around the room and sort of trying to trace. Yes, with the lights out, it's much harder to tell, but I think, and engineer, you.
Sorry, little. As you said that, little dancing light just floats over to fly above your head, Zan. It gave you light.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And he's trying to like find like a sort of where the more clear sort of like magical runes would be written in if things hadn't gone dark, and that light is able to help him sort of trace along whatever sort of magical circuitry is going. And after a minute or so, he just like goes, "Oh my god, who builds a system like this? My goodness." Okay.
Builds a system like what?
I believe they have set it up so that unless the papers are in order in this cabinet, things cannot continue. I don't know why this cabinet in particular. It's, I guess, trying to keep things tidy. And he looks around at the mess of papers all over.
Antler looks at the cabinet and just gives it a light tap with his staff.
As you do this, it's a
Well,
complete
it is not
coincidence.
going to reorganize itself.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
No, wait.
No, you
No,
go
no,
first.
you first. You first.
No, you first. I'm the DM.
Antler,
I command you to go first.
Antler just gives it a tap. It's just like, well, it's not going to reorganize itself. Well, fix this while we are here.
And it's complete coincidence, but as you do that, you hear over the message airways, I got bored, so I'm gonna come down, sit in bed, and then she cuts off
But
again.
no, beep, no.
She doesn't pick up again. So she's down here somewhere. Okay, yeah, files. The engineer is just looking at it with distaste, but is mostly looking around the room and is trying to be, like, on perception guard duty to make sure that nothing is happening.
Well,
Son, remind me
Nope,
to
shit all.
have a talk with whoever is in charge of this facility, because this is leaving interns in charge of a place as important as this is.
Well, you're welcome to, but you
so
haven't met
engineer,
the
it sounds like
lady
you
who's
will-
in charge usually. She's formidable.
And yet,
um,
disarray.
I am going to ask, engineer, you are not touching the paperwork. It
no.
sounds like.
Nah. Ew.
Okay. So, Antler, please roll 3 d20s.
3?
Yes.
Okay.
Question mark?
How do you roll them all? How do you roll them all at the same time? It's the semicolon.
If you
It's
do
just
that,
exclamation point and then 3
Like
before
that.
the d20.
But with
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I can just do that. Okay. Not like separately. You want them all together. Okay.
Okay.
So 7, a 1, and a 19.
Okay. You get. Oh my god! I can't believe incredible.
sounds good.
What do you get?
And I will also roll 3d20s. Cool. You do some hunting around and you find Zan has noticed all of the files from this particular cabinet are a certain color. You guys hunt around, you find 6 different files that look like they're from that specific cabinet. And now it's a matter of figuring out how to put them in order. I will post the names of those in a second as I pull them out.
No! Uni, you're actually making us do filing work? How could you betray me like this? Oh my god.
You told us to do some baby level puzzles.
I did. This is revenge
God.
for your day job, isn't it? I know it. God.
Yeah, Antlers looking through these files are just like, oh, what I would give to have Gartho here to handle all this.
I've got a beauty called Bob. He's a fantastic secretary, but you can't have him.
I would not dare to steal any of your secretaries from you.
Well, I say
Believe me, I
secretary.
have
He's an
enough to deal
accountant,
with.
but
I have enough of those to deal with as well, and it's exhausting.
Alright, and this one.
Economics have become much more complicated in my time, since my time, and it is. I cannot lie. I will admit some of it does fly over my head.
really, with those atlas? But I
Yes,
thought
know,
some of
it's
it would
quite a
get
feat,
stuck
I'm
along
aware.
the way. You could use it to like hang post-it notes on.
I considered the notion, but I am a vain man, and anything to put on my antlers will have to be decorative, not post-it notes.
Oh, we have actual letters and names. Uni, my suffering increases. Are you asking us to be smart while playing a D&D game?
Oh no!
I might take
Oh,
that
no.
inspiration point away from you. That's bad. I don't like this.
Hey, okay. 193 AE Buse Tash. What?
I will put a screenshot
I
of
mean,
this.
I will give
during
you
the game.
the information of the AE. Like, you know that is like after erasure. That is a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So if we put it
Okay.
in name being alphabetical, but the numbers in order chronologically, maybe that'll work. So like 174, then 176, then the 2 93s, and then the 2 or 96s.
Yeah, so
There's 3
chronologically and
93s.
and alphabetically.
Fuck. Okay, that. We do that. Is that right?
Antler's gonna go look in the cabinet and see how the order looks to be in there.
There you go.
Oh, what a smart man. I really am like the engineer. I just fucking
you-
hate this system stuff.
It is actually it is alphabetical by name first and then year.
Okay. All right then. So names first, and then we do it by year. That would actually.
I want you to know that I created like a list of 20 different files that could be found, and Lucky Smith is on there like 5 different times.
Who is this?
I think Antler actually pauses as
Lucky
as
Smith is someone who gets stuck here a lot.
I see.
Antler does pause when he sees the file Alexander Adu, and he actually will pause and actually show that to Zan. That is not a name I see very often.
Yes. Well, I told you I'd been here a while ago.
Is your full name Alexander?
You just hear a sort of wheezing laugh from the engineer, but he's not saying anything else.
Well, yes.
Antler just kind of processes that for a moment before looking at he just looks at the year as well,
God, no.
just like, oh, right,
Fuck.
don't know.
Okay.
Perhaps it's because I am a Toon. I was fully accepting that your name was just Zan.
Well, I suppose there are a great many names in the world. It's not unreasonable to assume. But yes.
Did anyone ever call you Alexander?
Oh, not for quite a long time.
When you have said that, we all hear a distant scream.
Ah.
Okay,
Who
You
does
two-
it sound like?
I just can't not do something about that, so I'm going. You two stay together and peck. And he's gone. He's gone new.
What? And there he goes.
He's
Well,
headed south, by the way.
Well, he is we're either going to find him dead later or someone else dead. Likely both.
Zan is just like gives Antler an incredulous look and is just like, okay, and like very like as quick as possible starts trying to shove files in order.
Yeah, Antler's not gonna be as panicked about it. He's just gonna, put the files in and start. And I guess once that's done, he doesn't know why they needed to stop and do that. To be perfectly honest, but he'll
Try to fix things. And like even with things out, there is a sort of like faint click.
No, I will say, like, once you do that, some of the lights in this room turn back on. It's not like all of them, because, like, this is like a full system outage. But yeah, it does seem to fix something, putting something back in order.
And Zan goes, good, great, okay, come on.
I am sorry for him running off. It's just in character. It's what he would fucking do. He's gone. Sorry.
Yes, I'm coming. I don't expect we'll be... You saw how fast he went. I don't imagine we'll be able to catch up in a timely manner.
Okay, well, we can still go. Someone is in trouble, Antler.
Someone is in trouble. Fine. And we'll follow. Again, he's not going to be as panicked about it because, of course, something's going wrong. It was only a matter of time.
Okay, so I guess you head south?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you're in the purple room, and again, because of your lights, it is lit up. It's got strange monoliths in it. It's, have you ever seen a big data bank? You know, like big old clunky computers, processors?
Mm-hmm.
With like the turning wheels and everything. It's kind of like that. And yeah, it seems to be pretty much working in here. There seems to be less noise than you feel like it should be making. Like some of these are making humming noises, some of them aren't. But it's not like anything's like exactly broken in here. And at this point, I remind you that purple is the word that Bumpy Matter Princess did say to you. However, priorities may have shifted. I don't know what you want to do.
I imagine Engineer has left a dust trail behind him after going to Noom.
Roll me survival. See if you can pick up the trail.
Okay.
Nope.
6.
Nope. Too fast.
Zan, he's just straight up. He's just doing a perception to see if there is anything of note in this room.
I will say one thing, because, that's very good. Yeah, with the 23, it'll add into it. Your survival trailing roll did not succeed very well. And it's kind of weird because there's, like, no dust in this room. That's fairly odd, considering this sort of place. It hasn't exactly been dusty the whole time. It's just kind of been a bit meh. It's underground. It has this sort of phonic smell and everything. It's but 23, yeah, you feel like some of these processes aren't working, and with the 23, this makes sense because you saw some similar damage before. You see some of them have got the same kind of cracks in various places, like they have been broken from the inside.
Zan, how capable is the engineer?
Well, I haven't exactly. I only just know his children mostly. I think it's worthwhile for us to come back here in a moment. And like Zan is very concerned. Like he's glad that there doesn't appear to be any people hurt here more than mechanism. So he's just like, we'll deal with that in a minute.
Antler opens his mouth as if to argue, but then you said children, and he pauses and then sighs and just, very well. I imagine the only other place he could have gone is down that way. And he points towards the hallway that leads to the pink rooms.
Are you gonna go down?
Nope.
Okay, you go down.
Yep.
And I will say again,
Yeah.
Zen, actually, even Antler, your passive perception is 15. And as you're going down this corridor, there's one branch that comes off it. It's kind of going to this southwest angle. But then it suddenly has a branch that goes southeast. And down that, you hear a sort of...
Antler has, he is staying close to Zan. 2, he has prepped his staff, and it crackles a little bit with electricity. Just prepared.
Okay.
Just prepared as carefully follows the sound.
I'm guessing you both go together.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. You go into a...
Not splitting the party any more than we already have.
Staying together.
Very, very fair. Okay, you enter this... It's quite a small room. You feel like this is a sort of little alcove, and you have no idea what it was for, but you could figure that out if you rolled very well. But at the moment, you're probably more preoccupied as you are faced with something familiar. It doesn't look in a good way. You find the body, as it were, of Bumpy Matter Princess, who appears nearly dead. She looks very ungood and is lying on the floor rather than hovering. She's face down with her arms out, and one of her fake acrylic nails has come off.
Zan will immediately kneel down by her to check her over.
While Zan does that, Antler's rolling perception. That's a dirty 20. Antler is looking around, immediately on guard to see if whatever did this
is nearby.
Is in proximity to them.
Oh no, that's a bad medicine check.
That's a
that one.
Fuck. Okay, this is great. This works. Okay, so I'm gonna do yours before I go back to Antler's, just because it works dramatically. So yeah, you turn her over, or like I don't know. Actually, yeah, you would. With a failed medicine check, you do turn over the person who might have a broken spine. It's debatable that she has one anyway, so whatever. But you turn her over. You can't figure out what has happened. You can't figure out anything that's happened, but she looks terrible. And she reaches up and says, "A monster."
It's okay. Don't talk. Oh goodness.
while this is
Hold on a moment.
stuttered conversation is happening, Antler, you can hear an approaching sort of tunk 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 tunk.
Antler faces the direction the sound is coming closer and prepares his staff, and he's probably going to prepare a spell as well.
Okay. Are you going to tell me which one, or is that a surprise for later?
He's going to prepare... Firebolt. Stick with cantrips at the moment because...
Okay, I mean, we're in a very condensed space, but that's your choice, friend. Okay, as you're hearing this...
And he'll prepare a booming... Then instead he'll prepare... Okay, you know what? Booming blade, then.
Cool. Very cool choice. Okay, you prepare that. The stumping hasn't reached you yet. While Bumpy Matter Princess says, "Who's that gross, crabby little monster, dude?"
Sad.
I don't.
Do you have anything for her?
Yes. Sorry. He again fumbles in his robe before pulling out a potion of healing. For her.
Gimme! And she chucks it down. What does that heal for?
2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus 2. Thank you very much. 10, great. Okay, yeah, she looks a little better and burps grotesquely and says, "It was the orange one, the feathery guy." Just as, around the corner and down this corridor, tunk tunk, you see the engineer who has Gary over his neck. He has this KO'd teenager just draped over an arm over his neck, and he's pulled it towards you and it's like, "Okay, so situation is bad. Do either of you have healing?"
Actually, Antler's gonna roll insight real quick.
Yeah, just real quick. Do
'Cause
an insight.
On who?
Does it? It's a 10.
On who, though?
Antler's staying on guard.
Well, they both rolled
Bad
10s.
rolls!
Right.
This is so good, though! 10 each! You have no idea which person is telling the truth. And the engineer looks confused for a moment, just taking in what's going on, and gently puts Gary down and says, "What happened to this? What?"
Well, she says she was attacked by something small and orange.
Whoa, now hey, just because she said small and orange doesn't mean... And then, something happens. And Zan, I know, Antler, you actually prepared a spell, but Zan, just based on your incredibly high passive perception, it's you, with your highly sensitive eyes and ears, you detect a sudden tension. And that tension is around the fingers of the engineer's left hand, as in a moment and a movement almost too small to see his palm hits the handle of the revolver on his hip to rotate it blurringly out of the holster. But despite the fact that we are entering very literally bullet time, you sensed it, Zan, before it happened. And in the spirit of this epic slow motion, Matrix-esque moment, I will allow you to do one thing, but one thing only. So you can use your movement, an action, a bonus action, but not more than one thing.
Okay. He is going to Antler is the one who is standing at the ready. Antler is the one who is therefore probably between him and the engineer. Zan is going to sort of yeah, he is going to try and grab Antler out of the way.
That's very cool. Okay, I'm just gonna let you do that, actually, because it's romantic as hell, and also very sensible. So I will not make you roll dex, however, he is shooting, so I will roll. That's an 18. And, okay, so here we go. The barrel of the gun swings up in one fluid motion, and firing from the hip, the hammer hits the primer. There's a controlled explosion of sparks and ignited propellant forming, for an unseen moment, a dazzling firework as this bullet sails towards you, both startling in its rapidity, even as we see it flying in slow motion. And Zan, you get to Antler and you push him out of the way, but you weren't looking at where that bullet was being aimed, and so we rejoin that tiny deadly metal missile as it soars towards you and past you and towards the engineer's target. The target which was standing just behind you. Let's roll initiative, everybody! Woo! Woo!
Mom.
And I will roll
initiative,
damage.
Lovely.
Okay, cool. That's a good start.
3. I'm gonna argue Antler just got pushed out of the way and off his off his rhythm.
Fine, cool. That makes perfect sense. I mean, I'm not judging on initiative. No one judges on initiative. Who does? Okay. So, that's the engineers. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense. He just went. So, and then there's the last person in this situation, whose character sheet I have to bring up, otherwise I will be completely up the river without a canoe. What is the... Oh, where's the dex? Oh, it's just nothing. Well, that's easy. Okay, cool. That's a 15. Okay, so the order is the engineer, then this thing, then it's Zan, and then it's Antler at the moment. So I will pin that for now. And yeah, you see this this bullet go into this thing that was behind you, because alas, for you turn and you see this contorted semblance of what had been to you so short a time ago, a fainting, very strange rubber hose ? Princess, which now pulls and stretches with myriad hissing, mismatched toothed maws and staring eyes, which are all wide and narrow pupilled from the impact, as you see a tunnel in its terracotta flesh which is rent by the bullet, and the tunnel actually remains carved through this clay-hued mess for a moment before the mass glues itself back together as though around a stone that had been tossed into a mire. And I will now upload a file of the thing that you are looking at, which is this.
Oh, that's fun.
So this is like an Aardman slime. It is actually called the Claymalgamate.
Can't believe.
It is a Claymalgamate, and this amorphous, writhing thing, it reaches hissing out towards you, and we are in combat, everybody. Welcome to the show!
I can't believe that the bumpy space princess was a sussy baka this whole time.
Well, was she though? We may find out. Anyway, the engineer isn't going to fix what isn't broken, plus you two are still basically between him and this thing, so he's going to shoot it again. That's absolutely going to hit, so... Okay, that's 17. And, yeah, he gets 2 actions because he's a barbarian, and he is going to... Oh, hell, let's do it again. Let's waste all my bullets. Jeez, well, at least they're hitting. Okay, he fires twice, like, fans the hammer and shouts, "Get away from it!" That's to you two. Not to the monster.
Oh yeah, they heard, but it's not their turn.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not their turn. You're right. Sorry, I was in the middle of doing maths. Middle of doing maths with my brain, which is actually a calculator on my computer because I'm bad at maths, so that I can figure out how much damage this thing has taken, which is, God, that's actually quite a lot. Jeez, engineer, what the fuck?
It's what happens when you give your character a gun.
It's actually not the hardest hitting weapon he has, looking at the giant flaming sword. Thank you, Kyle. I love it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It takes that sort of damage. It does sort of blow up, you will note, as these bullets go into it. And yes, indeed, it goes... and it's... and it is going to attack. I'm assuming that you two are basically in front of it still.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zan was right next to it.
Mm-hmm. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, well, the good news is it's only going to attack the closest one of you, which is probably Zan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so that's a 19 to hit. I'm assuming that's going to hit.
Yeah, that will hit.
Okay.
I don't think Antler can do anything to help.
No, not yet. Well, you may have your reaction. We'll see. So this is basically a reflavored black slime, which is scary because you two are crazy high level. So I apologize, but also I don't. So this is going to be the first D6 and +3 are bludgeoning. The rest is all acid, baby. It's a big old chunk out of Zan. This heavy, earth-like thing slams into your back, and you heroically protect Antler from the impact, but at what cost, indeed. It burns. It doesn't just hurt, it's slightly smothering. It smells awful. It's like oil, but it's sort of charred, and yeah, it's, nasty. Yeah, so you have taken that much damage.
I do have something that could help a little bit with that.
Okay, yeah? Is that a reaction?
Yeah, it's a reaction. It's a bend luck.
Ooh.
When another creature you can see makes an attack roll, an ability check or saving throw, you can use your reaction and spend 2 sorcery points to roll 1d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty to the creature's roll.
Okay.
I will tell you this. D4 minus 19, even if you roll
that's
a
true, your
4,
AC is
it'll
bullshit.
Still hit Zan.
Yeah.
Still hit Zan?
Zan's AC is just trash. I'm not going to say it, but it's bad, my goodness.
No, it is. It is bad. I know it's bad. Okay, I'll save. I will save it then.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get his... I made a choice between pushing Antler out of the way and putting on mage armor, and I was like, I gotta do the romance one.
Yeah. It's really good. Everyone's gonna love drawing fan art at this moment. Okay, so next in the order, we have Zan. It's your turn. You're in a lot of pain. The good news is the amalgamate hasn't moved. It's just done that.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, speaking of, okay, he's going to reel and sort of try and catch himself against the wall and try to like wheezingly catch his breath as there's a flurry of brief golden light and mage armor goes up.
Good move. Very literally
I feel like Antler is there to catch him. If we're doing the romantic thing, I feel like Antler is standing right there to catch him.
True.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, you're kind of both in a tumble at the moment. I mean, Zan, do you want to do anything with your movement?
Odd.
We're basically all dead center in that.
Going to like.
Sorry, we're just to give you an idea of where we are in the room. Basically, dead center in that tiny pink one in the corner. It totally lured you in here on purpose.
Yeah, bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zan is going to again sort of like try and less powerfully, less strong. Try and pull Antler to the side so they're not all lined up enough. Nice, neat row for this thing to attack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Then you just put yourself in harm's way to protect Antler, and Antler just had to watch you take a big whopping hit of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And
He
don't
almost
like
literally
that.
took a bullet for
And,
you, but
that was not lost on Antler either. So he looks at this thing, his eyes grow bright blue, and I need the creature to make a dex save.
oh, great. It kind of sucks at those. Let's just see how madly it sucks at those. Yeah, that's a plus nothing. Great. 8. That's a failure.
That does not make it. Antler casts Sword Burst. Like he put. I imagine like he puts an arm around Zan and casts Sword Burst basically to make a protective like shield of magical swords essentially that shoot out and stab right through this thing. And I'm just gonna roll the damage real quick.
Here's a really important question, which I hope I don't regret asking. What kind of damage is that?
It is. Let me check. Checking force damage.
Phew. Okay, good. Tell me how much damage that is.
Let me roll it. Oh wait, hold on. I'm just gonna check the D. Okay, it's 2d6. It's a 1. It's 5 damage, and then he's going to use his movement to take both him and Zan farther away from this thing.
I mean, I will say, if Zan isn't fighting against you, then you can go... I'm going to just give you your whole movement, so yeah, you can go 30 feet. The engineer is not big. I will say that there is another injured party in the corridor. Gary is there, who is unconscious.
Yeah. I think as Antler tries to move them past, Zan will like let go of him and try to be like, wait, and try to pick up Gary.
Okay, I'm afraid you're going to have to do that on your next turn, and that will require a roll. So, does Antler want to do anything else?
I'm just gonna check real quick if he has anything. I don't think. Yeah, Antler does not have. I think I could, but I don't want to expend sorcery points just yet.
That's
So
fine.
I'm gonna say that's his turn.
Okay, great. The engineer is sort of basically sensing what Zan is about to do and what you two are very sensibly going to do. Just get the hell out of here. He says, I'll hold them as long as I can. I don't know how long that'll be. And he is going to put the gun back in its holster and take something else out of its holster. And there is this noise as this large pink blade comes out. Actually, he has to say the activation word, so he says, "Pick off!" and lets the beast have at it, and is just going to go ahead and try and slash this thing. That's a 9. That's a fail. Oh, that's a crit fail. Gee. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something about that because that was so bad. Okay, so this thing is made of acid, so I am going to say that he misses because it basically parts in the middle where he was going to cut it, and because he's sort of wrong-footed, he literally steps in it. So he is going to take 6 acid damage, and there is another muttered oath, but he's going to swing himself around, try and use that momentum to actually bring the sword down on it. The 17, that will definitely hit, so I will roll damage for that. Let me just get that whole set of dice roll commands. I've actually made a sheet for this because his sword is so goddamn complicated. And I have got a tiny brain. Okay, so here's the thing. Some of that does the amount of damage that it should. The D10, which is a 5, so... Oh god, this is where the math gets hard. Because this thing has Oh, no, it's not just resistance, it's immunity. Yeah, that doesn't do any damage. So, yeah, it's actually just 11 that this creature takes. It takes 11. And, uh-oh, you know what happens when you cut a slime in two? The engineer has just discovered what happens when you cut a slime in two, and one of the things is that you end up with two slimes. But this creature also, if something touches the pudding or hits it with a melee attack while within 5 feet of it, which he definitely is going to take 4d8 acid damage from the spatter. Okay, that's another 13. And yeah, the engineer just can't help. It's sort of go, it's like, yeah, it hurts, and like you, Zan, know exactly what he feels like, because bad times. Bad times. I will say that basically he used his movement to get there. I could be sensible and a good player and get him to go back and block the doorway. I feel like it's more in the moment for him to be so distracted by the pain and the surprise of suddenly being flanked by two creatures that he stays where he is. He's also acting as a distraction. So that's the end of the engineer's turn. And now it is the Claymalgamit's turn. Oh, baby! There's two of them now! So I've got to write that down before I forget that there's two of these buggers about. Right. I am going to... What am I going to do? I mean, yeah, they would attack the thing that just attacked them. That makes sense. That makes sense. So both of them are going to attack the engineer. That's good for you guys. So the one on the left is going to attack. That's a failure. The engineer somehow manages to stagger come flip out of the way. And the other one is also going to do the same. A 6. That's a crit failure. This is fun. Okay, so it misses the engineer, and while it does this, if one of you happens to be looking, you start to understand what happened, because you've seen these pipes that have been broken from the inside. And you have been walking over and under grills, which have little holes in and are hollow underneath. And this thing spatters, but it also partially sinks into the ground where this vent is. And in fact, one of the creatures goes in, and it just disappears underneath this grating on the floor, and you don't know where that thing went.
Oh, fun.
It vented.
It vented.
It fucking vented. So,
oh god.
There is an enemy among us. I think that constitutes the monster's turn. It makes a horrible screechy sound, and one of the mouths says something about Wensleydale, but we don't need to pay attention to that. Okay, Zan, it is your turn. And I think you said you wanted to try and lift up Gary. I will need you to make a strength check, but he's very light.
Yeah. That is unfortunately a straight roll for Zan.
Mm-hmm.
And for 2!
You put your back out with a 2. Fuck. I mean, it's not actually a crit fail, so I wouldn't make you take damage. You absolutely can't pick up, Gary. This is beyond your physical prowess.
Okay, so instead, Zan is not going to keep retreating and instead put himself between the monster and Gary.
Okay,
oh,
and Fable's internet died, so let's take a little break, because we have just started combat. It may go on for a little while, so yeah. Let's have a little break. Break part 2, everybody. I had so much fun making up this horrible, horrible thing. But the terrifying thing is I had to balance this fight, and you are both respectively a level 10 and level 15.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're all wildly different levels. So
yeah.
It's
the engineer is the lowest level, which is kind of refreshing, honestly. I kind of am enjoying that. Yeah. So anyway, 5-minute break. I'ma just get some more water, actually, because I managed to drink it all. Okay, back in a minute.
Yeah, I should also refill as well.
Back in a sec.
Okay, I'm back. Oh, Fable, hello.
Hello. So yeah, we
Yep.
decided to have a little break because, fighting time.
Yeah. I got cut off on the Amalgamate's turn.
Ah, yeah, okay. So, the Amalgamate, both of it, tried to attack Engineer and missed, but one of them went underneath and through the grill because this thing can squeeze
Invented.
into places. It is amorphous. The pudding can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide without squeezing. It's plasticine, baby. You can do anything.
Oh dear.
Yeah, oh dear, oh dear.
There are 2 imposters among us.
There are 2 imposters among us. There could be more, depending on how badly we fuck up. So, keep that in mind.
True.
Oh great.
So, it has had its turn, and it is Zan's turn. Zan failed spectacularly at picking up Gary, which was very dramatic and honestly kind of fucking understandable. Who has muscles? Have you ever seen a wizard that lifts? No, fuck it. So I will say,
Zan is very fit for an elderly wizard.
yeah, he's doing his
But
best.
he's still an elderly wizard.
Also, they're in a stressful situation. He just had an acid bath, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you're in no position to carry someone.
No.
Sorry.
And so, instead, what he is going to do is, like I said, put himself between the remaining slime and Gary, and he is going to. He's going to pull out his wand, point it at the engineer, and cast haste.
oh shit, I wish I could say yes, but I'm afraid I'm being a hard-ass DM today, and you just used your action to try and pick up Gary and you failed. I will say you're allowed to use your bonus
All right.
action for something, and I'm gonna be slightly less horrible, and like, you know, if you wanted to assist instead, I would allow that. I think I'm allowed to softball that. Oh, unless you want to use your inspiration, then I will allow it.
Yeah. I'll use my inspiration so that at
what a
least
hero.
Zan can help buff up the engineer.
That's supremely cool of you. Wow, okay, cool. I don't think I've ever been hasted before as the engineer.
Look, we've got two. We've got an unconscious person and 2, big twigs. It's good to give all the power we can to the tank.
Okay, cool. Love it. Noted. That is very, very cool of you. You're not going to use your movement for anything else. You're just, like, blocking sight to Gary from the monster.
Yeah.
Well, one half of the monster, I should say.
Right.
Great. Okay, Antler, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, Antler sees that Zan's not having, isn't able to pick up Gary, and he looks back and sees the 2 engineers having with the 2. Oh, now there's 1 because one of them got away. Lovely. You know, he's just gonna, and he's gonna call out to Engineer, duck, and he's gonna lift up his staff and I was gonna cast Firebolt, but you know what? No, he's a little miffed. He's a little miffed at this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I need the remaining amalgamate to make a dex save.
I'm guessing that the engineer should as well, probably. I do get advantage at this.
Nope. He does
No.
not. Because Antler's a sorcerer and he has sculpt spells, so he is able to.
Yeah, cool.
He's able to exclude certain
Yeah.
people from
Careful
having to make
spells.
saves. So
That's a good one to have. Okay,
careful
so
spells, yeah.
a dex save, did you say?
yeah, he also called out to Engineer to duck. So
Yeah, okay. I mean, I know the order is kind of fucked, but yeah, absolutely, the engineer will do what you said. 17. That's actually pretty good for a creature that has no bonus to Dex. How's that done?
Yeah, but you know what? You know what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go ahead and give me a second. Where is it? Where is it? How many?
Oh, is it that
there it is.
subtract 4 thing that you have potentially?
Yep, I'm gonna expend 2 sorcery points. And use bend luck and just do a quick D4.
Hope you roll high.
And let me make sure. I don't need to for this to work. Yep, that's all.
Really? Awesome. Wow, 16. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're crazy high level.
Yeah. Yeah, so, he's gonna cast, Agonizer's Scorcher.
Oh,
which
fuck
is,
yeah.
a line of roaring flame, 30 feet long and 5 feet wide, emanates you in a direction you choose. Gotta make a dex save. On a fail, you take 3d8 fire damage.
Roll that damage, baby.
And Antler's annoyed, so
Yeah.
you're gonna.
I wish I could give you extra for being
damage.
pissed damage, but...
Let's just hope I roll nicely. Come on.
12!
Damage
Not bad.
type
12.
Angie.
Yeah.
So yeah, 12 fire damage.
Okay, this
It's just
one
this
that's...
beam of fire emanates
Ooh.
from his staff.
Very nice. Okay, let me just do the maths. And 9. Okay,
Yeah, it would have been half.
Yeah.
It would have been half. It was.
It was a
It would've been half
successful...
if it succeeded.
It was an unsuccessful... Anyway, the thing takes 12. It's fine. Mark is trying to help us play the game. Wait a minute. Oh, so I definitely have to take it. But I also take half of 9. What's half of 9? Because I have resistance to fire.
Well, you don't. No, you don't take it at all because of the careful.
I think that just means I succeed
Hold on,
the
stop.
roll. I think I
Yeah.
still take the damage. We're confused now. Do I take the damage or not?
I want to say no because
Okay.
you wouldn't have to make the dex save at all.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Fine. Right. We're just going to. The engineer does a dramatic backflip. There's an explosion, and this half of the monster is going. And you know what? Plasticine is flammable, baby. So yeah, that takes full damage. And this half of the monster is now looking unwell. It is technically bloodied, but it doesn't have any blood. And here is where the gross starts. So you see hands pushing inside it, like towards the outside.
That's not great.
It looks bad. It's like a Goosebumps monster thing. It's like, it's gone from Aardman to Coraline sort of level spooky. You know that thing with the two aunts who are in the ball with the gum?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
absolutely.
It's very much that, but you know that you did damage, so good going. Is there anything you would like to do with your bonus action or your movement?
he's gonna. Hold on. Let me just see. Is there a bonus action? I do. I don't think so, because I do have 2-weapon fighting, but I don't think that's a case of I can.
No, you can't do that and cast a spell.
Yeah, I don't
looked
think I can do
into
that.
it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I would like to, but I think instead he is just going to. I think if Engineer hasn't caught on that fire is bad for this thing, Antler is definitely going to call out and yeah. I think that fire sort of yours ought to finish it off.
Aye, but the last time I hit it with the sword,
Considering it that last time it split in half, are you sure?
I will say that it didn't look like it was like.
Unless you have other fire means of dealing with it.
Yeah, from your observation, and indeed the previous example, so while the slashing... Let me put my teeth back in. Just spat my dentures across the floor. So while the slashing damage of the engineer's sword didn't do jack shit apart from make things worse. The fire did do damage. It's not like it was super effective, like a Pokemon situation, but it certainly did do damage. So, yeah. You know this thing is made of acid, you know that slicing it into pieces is not gonna work. Fire is an example of something that will absolutely do damage. The engineer waves a hand in a sort of recognition of this advice. And whose goes it next? Is it... I'm actually just gonna roll one of these. Okay, yeah, it is in fact the engineer's turn. So... you don't have to worry about it. It's fine. You don't have to worry about what that dice means. It's fine. Okay. So, yeah. Sword bad. He puts the sword out and puts it away. Yeah, he has the whole... the gun did some damage for sure, but, like, he's also feeling kind of buzzy because of what you did. So, what is he gonna do? I have to think as a player as well as a DM at the same time. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know what? I'm trying to make things too dramatic. I'm thinking about this too hard. He gets the gun out again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just shoot.
But at this point, I have to keep track because I shot 1 bullet in the DMV. I've shot 3 bullets while I'm down here, so I actually only have 2 left in the chamber. So I will, in fact, use both attacks. That meets, so it hits. Phew, okay, that was the lowest I could have done it, but I got away with it. So one of them hits for that much damage. Okay, So I mean, good news. He shoots the slime, and it goes back, and it explodes, and it's weird because it was actually kind of like when it started out, it was like a big thing, and then it was 2 medium things, and then as they took more damage, they got kind of smaller. But then he had the whole weird shit happening, and then he shot it, and it's like it exploded, and people come out of it, and out of this creature come the unconscious forms of Schmeculok and the Red Dragon, the Red Dragonborn.
Lovely.
And Schmeculok says, and coughs out some of this gross plasticine goop and falls over backwards, and the Red Dragonborn is barely conscious, like 1 HP, and gives a thumbs up. The engineer's like, okay, unexpected, but I'll take it. The problem is that the other one has disappeared, so now he's going to have to use one of his actions to locate it. So I think that's going to be... oh, shit, he's going to have to use his... yeah, that's annoying, but I've got haste, so I am allowed to do it. Would it be investigation or would it be perception, my dudes?
But the first amalgamate is
dead. It exploded.
Okay.
It literally exploded.
Okay. I just double check it.
No, it's fine. It's disgorged its contents. So, yeah, these characters come out of it. The Dragonborn is pretty big, by the way. It was kind of impressive that it was in there at all.
That's the magic of weird body horror hammer space.
Absolutely. Okay, I am going to be mean to myself and make this an investigation to try and locate the other one before it gets out anywhere else. An 8. He only knows that it went under. He uses his movement, because he's on, like, hyperactive lightspeed mode right now, to come out into the corridor. It is like, just don't move too far. And he is listening and he is looking at, but cannot figure out where this other half of the amalgamate has gone. And it's such a shame because I'm hasted, but that's it. That's the end of his turn. Frustrating.
Don't worry, the haste will stay on.
It's true.
For a bit.
It's true.
Wait, goddamn, I forgot to.
You forgot to.
Ignore
Are
me.
you allowed to do it now? Or...
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay, fine.
No. I was just doing the wild surge check real quick.
Okay.
Because I casted a first level spell. I'm fine. We're good.
Here's the irritating thing. So this thing is effectively hidden right now, so it's going to have advantage to hit. I am not sure who it would try and hit, because it's basically trying to get away, but it also wants to hurt you because it's bad. I'm going to roll a d3 and see which one. Okay, Antler. You just, like,
Lovely.
seconds before it happens, you hear a and from the ceiling you see this thing, and it goes whoop, and it spits a part of itself at you, and it is a 6 to hit. Let's see.
Cool.
Ooh.
Just gonna...
Bad news is that this can happen twice, so we'll see what happens after this. But 2 hit, that has hit, and that is 2d8 plus 2. So you take 9 acid damage,
Lovely.
and it can do this attack
I was
twice.
gonna say shield, but that was a 20.
Yeah.
Shield's not gonna help.
Okay, and is that a hit?
12? No.
No. Okay, the second one just misses your ear. Perhaps the first one was so insulting that you just were just like, and it spatters off your right antler. And again, like, you can feel this as it just, like, glances past you. It doesn't do any damage, but it's unpleasant, this thing.
It's on his antlers.
Yeah, and so it revealed itself, but it can use its action to hide again, but I will make it do a stealth roll this time. 19. It's disappeared again.
Heck.
So, that was the Amalgamate's turn, and then it is Zan, I believe? Yes.
Zan is going to look to the two of them who got spat out, and like, I know he's like, oh, he's the cool super magic wizard, he could do a bunch of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, he's using his turn to make sure they're okay.
That's really awesome of you, because, yeah, I mean, Shmebulok is looking pretty terrible. The only reason that they have revived at all is because you have just destroyed the body. If it was otherwise, they would still be KO'd and be having to make death saves and such. But yeah, they're at 1 HP each. I'm going to give you that without a medicine check, but if you want to heal them, you can do that. It's up to you.
Yeah, it only has so many healing potions. I'm gonna see if I can make a medicine check to patch them up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without resorting to that.
Good old-fashioned DIY.
Yeah.
A 16's passable. I mean, Shmebulok, you don't really know what to do with Shmebulok. There's not a lot of him, and it's very toony, this guy, Bug Eyes. And you stand him up on his feet at one point, and he just throws out a rainbow for like half an hour, it feels like. And but the red dragonborn is a real kind dragonborn. Even if he's quite stylized, you suspect there's some Toonkind heritage in there. And yeah, you managed to patch him up, and he looks very, very grateful and gives a very sort of sincere snort in your direction, which is very warm. Definitely dragon breath involved, but you feel gratitude in your direction.
And Zan, he, like, is conflicted between staying with these people, making sure they're okay, and also chasing after the rest of the group. And he looks to the Dragonborn and gestures to Shmebulok and Gary. It's like, can you please look after them while we take care of this thing?
Shmebulok salutes and says Shmekulok, and Shmekulok. Don't want to get any copyright issue with Shmebulok and Shmekulok. And the red dragonborn just
Mr.
walks.
Hirsch is a cool dude. He doesn't care.
Nah, he's cool. Disney is not. Oh god, I even said the word. I'll have to block it out. But Giznep. The red dragonborn uses his turn, I will say, to go over to Gary and pretty effortlessly picks him up and brings him over to be guarded by him and this tiny toony gnome, who you don't know, he might be a badass. But we're gonna leave them to look after Gary. That's a very good move. Okay.
Yeah. And Zan will give them a nod of thanks before running after Antler and the engineer.
Great. Speaking of, I think that means it's Antler's turn. So you have found that this thing has disappeared into the gutter. I'm afraid its 19 is above your passive perception. You have many options, so what do you want to do?
I do have several options.
Mhm.
Problem is that I don't know what the intelligence of this thing is.
I will say it's not good. I shouldn't tell you that, but it isn't.
I
good.
mean, I don't imagine it's good. I'm just baiting. If I want to expend a spell to figure out if it's has an intelligence above 3.
I mean, look at the time, my dude. It's now or never.
Different. Okay, you know what? Here's I'm gonna roll perception first, and if that does good, then I can do something as a bonus action.
Cool.
So I'm gonna do perception first, and I don't want to look because it's gonna end up not being good enough. I don't want to look.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, it's 12.
12 is not good
Yeah,
enough. I'm
so
very
that's-
sorry.
Yep, and so that's fine. That's fine because I do have a thing where I can do. Wait a second. I have to find the thing first because
It's hard playing D&D and making audio content at the same time is hard.
Actually, hold on. I have something else I could do to make this roll again.
Okay.
I have Tides of Chaos.
Oh, you do?
Once per long rest, you gain advantage on attack roll, ability check, or saving throw.
I
So
forgot about that. I was
just
reading
gonna
this
go ahead and
character
use
sheet
that
like,
and re-roll
what
my
the
perception.
hell? This is so cool.
I'm gonna re-roll. And I don't know if are you gonna count this as a bonus action or just me re-rolling?
It's just re-rolling. That's not a bonus action.
Cool.
Oh!
24!
Yeah, absolutely.
Where is
how does
it?
this look? Like, how do you find it?
He's looking around at first, and then he's getting pretty miffed, and he's already miffed, and so his eyes are now glowing a pale bright blue as he's looking around now with more magically enhanced vision.
So bat vision.
Yeah. Bat vision. Why not?
Sorry to cheapen it. I had to make it. Okay, yeah, you turn on your bat vision, antler vision, whatever you want to call it, and your senses are heightened, and you can feel this place. It's like it's alive. And for one wonderful moment, you are so in tune with that magic, with every single little vibration that's happening around you. You can absolutely pinpoint it. It's like bat echolocation, and it's slid down inside the wall.
I'm just imagining. I'm just imagining like the antlers getting a little boom boom
Bing,
of like
bing.
antennae.
Yeah! Why not? Okay.
You know what? Yeah.
Through your magical antlers. This is getting very whack-fu. Ooh, spoilers. Yeah, you sense that you can actually feel it moving, and it's like, and it's just slid down the inside of the wall. And if you were like an engineer or a builder or something, you'd think, oh, blimey, that was a backlog of sewage. Nope, that's the thing. And it's now underneath the ground, and it was directly underneath the engineer's feet.
Cool. Antler is going to use his movement to walk over there, and as he is walking forward, he waves a hand over the horns of his staff, which extend to long blue dagger sharp horns now, and he's walking forward. Electricity runs up his staff as he raises it up, and he's gonna stab it down. And I'm using a sorcery point to cast Booming Blade.
Okay.
I'm spending sorcery points to
Booming
do
Blade
quicken
is...
spell. So basically, you can spend is a spell.
Yes, no, I know. I'm just
This
trying
is
to remember
illegal.
what kind it is again. It's important whether it's thunder or lightning.
Oh.
It's
It is.
thunder, I think, isn't it?
Checking. Thunder. It is thunder.
That's very good news. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
Hold on. Let me take the sorcery points off quick. I still have to roll to hit.
You do. I mean, you know where it is, so
which
it's not a
is with-
disadvantage.
I do. Disadvantage, which I like, which is nice.
I love that you didn't
Hierarchy for
explain what...
advantage, since
Antler
we
didn't
did-
explain what he was doing. He just started ominously walking towards the engineer and then went kaboom in front of him.
Well, I mean, engineer could probably see where Antler's looking.
I don't know, man.
But anyways, I don't know either. But anyways,
Yeah, that definitely
yeah,
hits.
raises
Well,
the staff and stabs the horns through the ground.
very good.
Please hit 21.
Baby, wow, that's exactly what you needed. Okay, yeah. How do you want to do this?
Oh shit!
Hey.
Oh shit! Yeah, I feel like, man, the thing was like about to like come out to attack the engine.
Yep.
But then just as it's about to, from its perspective, just these bright blue electrical horns just stab into the ground and pierce right through it, and you just hear this painful squeak before it just quiet. Dead quiet.
There's this sort of hissing sound, and then you hear, "Oh my god, that is so disgusting!" from underneath the grate.
Sailor slowly calms down his eyes. He pulls his staff out of the grate, and his eyes turn back to normal. And he's just
Well, that explains where she's got to, and the engineer is going to make a strength check to try and rip this grate off the ground. 18, I don't know what yours was for.
And I am rolling. I was a wild surge because I had to do that for the Tides of Chaos thing.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, yeah.
Which I'm good.
You're good, you're fine. Okay, you haven't turned into
Good.
a potted plant. Alright, so yeah, this surge dissipates into the building, and the engineer just goes, and this whole panel, it's like the size of a large dining table, comes up in his claws, and you see the sort of swirly-eyed body of Bumpy Matted Princess, who doesn't look as terrible as she did before, but now you know it wasn't actually her, it was this monster that had absorbed her and taken on her appearance. And there's also Itch, who comes out and just shakes off and says, "Not cute and fluffy!"
Antler just stares at him for a moment before just...
Yeah.
He just turns... Antler turns around and goes over to Zan. And it's just like, are you alright?
And it just like gives him a look and then goes to check on Itch and Bumpy Princess.
Mm-hmm. Same as before, they're
look?
down to 1 HP, but they're not dying, they just are kind of messed up, and indeed Itch is kind of all slicked down, gross, and is doing that thing that cats do, he's trying to lick himself off, so he is cute and fuzzy again.
God. I'm imagining, like, Zan, like, I should make another medicine check, but also I just am enjoying the image of Zan, like, pulling out, like, a towel to help dry off Itch.
That's very cute. I mean, this is basically how it resolves. You all have discovered what the problem was. There was this clay amalgamate which had been busting things and basically had intentionally been trapping people so that it could eat them. You suppose, basically. And eventually everything gets sorted out. The actual rune engineer gets summoned eventually, and there's going to be a lot of paperwork. I'm sure Antler is going to be suing somebody.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. And basically it all resolves, and I think because you completely smashed this thing, you both get 20 gold for having solved a problem. that you shouldn't have had to solve, and you get a DMV fast pass. You can imagine what that means. So, congratulations.
That is worth at least as much gold.
Yep. Yeah, they're really good. Everyone is very jealous of those fast passes. And that's basically the end of the game. Is there anything you would quickly like to have a little conversation about? Or shall I do a little wrap-up scene for you?
Well, yeah, because Zan, you took a really bad hit from an acid attack. Antler's not just gonna let that go.
Once Zan has made sure the people who were actually inside the acid monster are okay, he will accept Antler's concern, and be like, "Thank you, I'm fine."
Fine indeed. A full hit for that. Now hold still. And Antler is actually gonna. He's doing a full circle around you, Zan. He is, assessing just how bad damage you got. No, he is not as concerned about the people who were actually in the amalgamate. His main concern is Zan.
As you're looking at Zan, Zan starts to look a lot better, and you see the tip of the tail of the red dragonborn, which has just touched Zan on the shoulder, and you have been healed for 18 hit points.
Oh, nice.
Gives you another thumbs up. He's very, very quiet, strong, manly type, this dragonborn.
Zan just smiles at him. Thank you. He is, yeah. I mean, he took a hit and it definitely staggered him for the time, but he genuinely is just a bit scuffed up at this point once he got air back in his lungs. His robe is a little bit scorched, but he'll patch it up.
Antler gives an appreciative nod to the Dragonborn, but I think I'd very much like to leave now. I think I've had enough of this DMV.
You keep hearing, while you're
we
having
can
this
all agree on
conversation, sort of little... and you realise that the engineer is still on haste, and he can go Noom. Hasted Noom. Fuck, that's fast. So he's basically been going to and fro, getting everybody up above ground, carrying them, and now it's basically just you two guys left, and the Dragonborn, who is too big for him to carry past you without you noticing.
Incredible. And yeah, once the engineer, if he actually, takes a second to not be, motion blurred, Zan will say to him, "Thank you for your help."
Thank you for yours, and for yours. And he extends a hand for a handshake to you, Antler.
Roll insight, both of you.
Crying out loud, it's a handshake, my god, just take it, man. 11, crap.
And
Sad.
Zan can get advantage because Zan, you are aware of what the deal is with handshakes for Antler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely see that it's a very brief twinge that you see both in his eyes and his ears. But Antler does reach forward and accept the handshake.
As you accept the handshake, which is not too strong considering the hand that's giving it, you are palmed a business card. Which, this is basically a you're chill, you can come visit Dodo Studios, he thinks you're pretty cool.
Antler just looks at it a moment before. I look forward to seeing what movies you make, engineer.
You should. Is he wrong?
Well, then you won't you won't mind if I come in with high expectations then.
Hey, but mind you don't scrape your antlers on the entrance. Most of my employees are fairly short.
I'll be sure to duck then.
Thanks for telling me to earlier.
Oh. Of course. You'll know. And he actually pauses for what he was about to say and instead gives a nod.
Weird. But yeah, he's gonna just accept that. And he's like, alright, ready to go? And is offering to carry you out. Like, super fast.
I think we're fine. Do give Shorts Kid my my hellos.
Oh, I will. She asked about you a lot. And I think this is a nice time for us to sort of gently pan down as the engineer takes the Dragonborn, who sort of, for the first time, actually says something and goes, nah! As he gets carried off. Lets you two walk back together. The light's still flickering, but they will be fixed. And we pan down into the earth and the vent that was beneath. And there are just tiny little specks here and there of this plasticine. And slowly, it's like slowly over, the sped up footage type thing. Like if you could see daylight passing overhead, you would understand how many minutes and hours pass. They congeal into a very small clay amalgamate. And there is a single eyeball, very small, like proper, like shown the sheep scale model type thing. And this thing scurries away, and it slides down into a tube. It goes down that tube into a gutter, and it goes into the sewers. It goes along the sewers, and it goes along the sewers, and it goes along the sewers. And it comes out somewhere in a misty, murky dock, sort of wasteland kind of urban landscape, and goes into a place, and goes into that vent, and goes up through a building, and plops onto somebody's desks. Oh, it's you! So, how did it go? Did you cause plenty of chaos? And the jester beholds this strange thing which goes... Ah, well, at least you had a bit of fun. Oh, Playface, you are a god. But you did get what I wanted you to. And there's a bit of a threat to this. The clay amalgamate vibrates in fear, and it vacates the space that had been underneath it, leaving behind a shiny runestone. It's this weird pulsing crystal that looks like it's alive. It's a very peculiar thing, and the jester takes it in his hands and says, "Well, at least something good came of it." And that's where we're gonna leave it. So
God.
that's the end of the game. And I'm so glad you got to meet Playface, a little friend, who is actually quite scary. But you did extremely well, and fun dice rolls. Boy. I hope you had a good time.
Rolls. God. Should have known.
Of course. Anyway, great job. You got the maximum money reward and the fast pass soul life. Congratulations. Nobody died.
Yeah. Nobody died.
We did it.
Woo!
Crewmates win.
Yes, crewmates win. I didn't make a
Crewmates
picture
win.
of it. Thank you, Obby, for the title card. Very, very good. I appreciate it because my hands were dead this week. So, yeah, it's good.
Thank you, Maud, for such a fun game. This was fun.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad.
You put so much more effort into this than you needed to, and it was delightful.
I wouldn't say that. You're worth it. Like, I really love playing with you guys, and it was so nice to have these characters together. Like, just old men characters Being sassy.
We've been wanting an old men game for a long time.
A long ass
and-
time.
Yeah.
Like a year at least. So this was very, very good. And thank you so much for listening, everybody out there in listening land.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Any last goodbyes?
Love
Y'all
you.
are awesome. We love you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you for the support. Bye.